This kid is Thurn. He's the model student, the golden boy, and right now, he's got a sword pointed at his own brother's throat. He calls our guy a disgrace to the family name, a stain that needs to be wiped off the map. Most people would be sweating, but RMC? He's just wondering why his future murderer was so cute as a kid. He tells his brother to move it like he's a minor inconvenience, leaving the genius of the family shaking in pure rage. But to understand how we got to this family reunion from hell, we need to go back to the literal end of the world. The sky is bleeding, the ground is a graveyard, and the hero is currently having a mental breakdown. Meet Evan. He's the chosen one. And he just realized that being the chosen one doesn't mean you actually win. And then there's this guy, the great extra. He's the guy who learned everything, swords, magic, cooking, probably how to tax evade, just to keep the hero alive. But the Demon King of Carnage doesn't care about your hobbies. The invasion was a speed run and humanity was the loot. The hero party failed. The world is cooked. And as the final explosion wipes out reality, our guy has one final pathetic thought: please let me be born rich next time. The universe hurt him, but it definitely used a monkey's paw. He wakes up 15 years in the past. He's rich. All right. He's in the Dark Magic clan, living in a palace where the gardeners are literal demons. But there's a catch. He is Christian Van Baron Khazar. The name sounds fancy, but Christian is a bastard among bastards. A walking L who spent his life getting bullied until his own family murdered him. Our guy is currently in the body of a man destined to die in 2 years. He's got two choices: stay quiet and get stabbed, or change the script. Remember the Demon King? The guy who turned the world into a sacrificial altar? He's still coming. To stop him, our guy realizes he can't just be a great extra anymore. He needs to become the Demon Emperor. Step 1. Deal with his terrifying father. Count Khazar looks like he eats souls for breakfast. He tells Christian that if he screws up one more time, he's losing his head. Literally. So our guy does something no one expected. He drops to his knees, and he begs to be sent to the punishment cave. The punishment cave isn't just a timeout corner, it's a sensory deprivation hellhole that breaks most people in hours. Christian asks for a full month. The Count thinks his son has finally lost his last 2 brain cells, but he agrees. If Christian fails, he's banished. And in this family, banishment is just a fancy word for free target practice. Christian makes a deal. If he survives a month, he gets one request. The Count leaves, convinced his son is a dead man walking. Cox the butler is losing his mind with worry, and the maids are already betting on how long the trash will last. The over-under is 2 days. They reach the cave, guarded by literal death knights because the Khazar family doesn't believe in subtle security. That's when the brother Thurn shows up to deliver his final warning. He's barking like a dog about honor and disgrace, but Christian just looks at him with the eyes of a man who's seen the apocalypse. The genius gets ignored like a toxic lobby chat, and Christian walks into the dark. Total silence. Total blindness. For an ordinary person, this is a nightmare. For a guy who used to be a treasure hunter, it's a spa day. He's not here to think about his sins. He's here to overhaul a broken body. Using medical skills from his past life and a mountain of expensive magic stones, he starts the purification. It's a process so painful that a single mistake would turn his insides into liquid, but as the mana starts to surge, he just smiles. The trash of the family is about to become their worst nightmare. Back at the office, the Count is checking the status of his problem child. He's actually worried that the punishment cave might have broken Christian for good. He remembers a time when Christian actually showed promise, before he suddenly spiraled into a total mess. The Count wonders if it was arrogance that ruined him, but his parenting style is pretty straightforward: either get strong or stay in the dirt. He'd rather see his son dead than living as a disgrace to the Khazar name. He shakes the thought off. Expecting a comeback from Christian at this point is just setting himself up for disappointment. Then Cox drops the news. The butler looks like he's about to have a heart attack while explaining the situation. He tells the Count that Christian didn't go in empty-handed, he took a dreamstone with him. The Count's face goes dark. A narcotic stone in a sensory deprivation cave is a death sentence. He tells Cox to let him rot. 1 month later. The doors to the cave finally hiss open. The Count is expecting to find a hollow shell of a man, or maybe just a corpse, but the person stepping out of the shadows doesn't look broken at all. He looks like he just finished a luxury spa day. Our guy steps out and immediately asks his dad if he's surprised. He walks with a weight he didn't have 30 days ago. The posture, the tone, the sheer confidence, he looks like a completely different person. The Count is speechless. He's looking for any sign of the old Christian. but the eyes are what sell it. That sharp predatory gaze hasn't been there since he was a kid. The Count tries to play it cool, giving him a backhanded compliment for surviving. He tells him not to get a big head, but Christian just laughs it off. He's already miles ahead of the old man's expectations. While the Count is processing this, Chris is doing a quick status check. That dreamstone everyone was worried about? It was actually the MVP of the training arc. The butler thought he was taking drugs. Chris was actually using it to overclock his brain. He used the hallucinations to simulate years of training in a matter of weeks. The result? He didn't just fix his body, he created 2 separate mana cores. He casually tests a 1-star light spell. The trick is that he's using a darkness core to act as a stealth shroud for his light core. In a world of dark mages, being a light user is basically being a walking target. But then he remembers the stone again. The fact that someone gave Trash Christian a narcotic stone right before he went into isolation wasn't an accident. Someone was definitely trying to make sure he never came out of that cave alive. Chris just smiles. He'll take the attempted assassination as a free level up and pay them back later. Now that he's proven he can survive, he decides to push his luck and make a request. The Count tells him to talk. Christian asks for access to the Black Swamp Knights training grounds. These guys are the elite. They don't care about noble titles, they only respect people who can actually swing a sword. Christian plays the loyal son card, saying he wants to be inspired by their bravery. The Count stares at him for a long beat, probably wondering if the cave actually did scramble his brain. He agrees, but with a warning, if Christian embarrasses the family there, the consequences will be permanent. Christian just smiles. He's got one more stop on his to-do list. Cut to the training grounds. The air is thick with the sound of steel hitting steel. Christian rolls up looking like he's ready for a duel, and the vibe immediately shifts. The knights are already whispering. To them, he's just the foolish young master who probably can't even hold a sword straight, but the training ground was just the excuse. He's actually here for the library. This is where the Khazar family keeps their high-tier dark magic grimoires. The Count already told him that if he wants the key, he has to get a letter of recommendation from the deputy commander. He also reminds Christian that the last time he was in the library, he tried to sell the books on the black market for cheap. Chris realizes his predecessor was even more of a loser than he thought, but he doesn't have time to dwell on it because his favorite person just showed up. Thurn is back, and he's already looking for a reason to put his brother in the dirt. Christian just looks at him and grins. This is exactly the opportunity he needed. Thurn starts the conversation by giving Christian a final warning to get lost. Christian just looks at him like he's a toddler throwing a tantrum. He mentions that their father gave him permission to be here, and Thurn's brain nearly short-circuits. That's when the deputy commander makes her entrance. Melon shows up and the temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. She's putting out 4-star dark energy just by standing there. Christian bows politely, but he doesn't flinch. Melon is actually shocked. Most 15-year-olds would be hyperventilating under this much pressure. Christian tells her he's here to prove he's qualified to use the grounds. He suggests a duel against one of the knights present. Thurn thinks it's a joke. Melon thinks it's a waste of time. But Christian sets the trap. He asks for an unarmed duel, citing his debilitated body as an excuse. Melon is hesitant. If the Count's son gets his jaw broken on her watch, it's a paperwork nightmare. Christian ignores the concern and starts picking his victim. He points right at Thurn. Thurn looks like he's about to explode. Being challenged by the family trash is the ultimate insult. Melon reminds Christian that Thurn is a 2-star mage. In this world, a 2-star at age 13 is basically a prodigy. Christian's internal monologue is basically, "Cool story, but I've killed gods." He insists on the match. If he's going to prove himself, he might as well do it by humbling the family favorite. He taunts Thurn, asking if he's scared of his big brother. Thurn accepts. The crowd forms a circle, and the vibe is basically a high school fight behind the gym, but with more demons. Christian asks about the winning conditions. Melon is annoyed now. She says they go until someone is incapacitated. Christian turns to Thurn and asks if he heard the lady. Thurn charges in, screaming about how he's going to shut Christian's mouth for good. The impact happens, and Christian just stands there with a smile that says, "Is that it?" Thurn realizes his first strike didn't even move him. Christian starts moving. He knows this is practically cheating. He has centuries of combat experience. In a magic duel, he'd have to work. In a fistfight, it's a massacre. He lands a solid hit, and we see a flash of his past life, countless battlefields where he learned how to break men. The knights watching are completely confused. They just saw a non-mage outmaneuver a 2-star. Thurn is doubled over, gasping for air. Christian leans in and asks if he's crying. He even offers to blow on the boo-boo. Thurn is shaking. He demands to know what kind of trick Christian used. Christian just shrugs. He tells him it's not a trick, it's just that Thurn is a bit too weak. He starts taunting him again, cupping his ear like he can't hear Thurn's breathing. Thurn loses it. He stops playing by the unarmed rules and starts channeling dark energy into his fist. He swings with enough force to kill a normal person. Christian dodges it like he's moving in slow motion. He catches Thurn's arm mid-swing. Thurn realizes his dark energy is being completely neutralized. Christian delivers a final, brutal strike to the face. Thurn hits the dirt, and the entire training ground goes silent. The knights are trying to make excuses, saying Thurn must have gone easy on him. Melon isn't making excuses. She saw exactly what happened. Christian turns to her and asks if that's enough to prove he's qualified. She says yes. Christian's plan is moving perfectly. He's about to dive into that library and start devouring everything they have. Back at the estate, things are finally looking up. Our guy has officially reached 1 star in dark magic. It took a bit longer than he wanted because he had to clear out all the residue the original Christian left behind. He rings the bell for service, and we get our first look at the staff. Meet Marie. She looks like a standard maid, but the blue flames around her feet suggest she didn't get hired through a normal agency. She's a banshee, a high-level evil spirit serving as a housemaid. Christian is already planning her replacement because, honestly, the vibe is a bit much. He asks for juice, and she immediately asks if he wants the human blood variety. He has to specify strawberry. Twice. She seems genuinely disappointed that her master has boring taste in beverages. Time to head back to the grind. Cox catches him on the way out, acting all worried that the young master is pushing himself too hard. The butler starts this whole "I always believed in you" speech. Chris isn't buying it. He hits him with the "who asked" look. Cox immediately folds. The man is sweating. He knows the dynamic in this house has shifted. Chris notes that the butler is acting fishy. File that away for later. Back at the training grounds, the weather is clear and the mood is different. The knights aren't looking at him like trash anymore, more like a weird glitch in the Matrix. He drops his gear. It's time to start phase 2 of his plan, winning over the muscle. He starts warm-ups, and you can see the knights tracking his every move. Inside the command tent, a scout reports that the young master is back for more. Melon is sitting there, probably wondering why her morning had to start like this. She's trying to figure out the play. She remembers the duel with Thurn, specifically how he cut off his dark energy at the perfect microsecond. She's thinking he might have the talent to surpass the main family's heir, but then she reminds herself he's just a bastard who ruined his body with party favors. She hears a commotion outside and steps out to see what's up, and there it is. Chris has already put a squire in the dirt. The knights are losing it. That squire was a 1-star fiend. Melon starts realizing the ruined core narrative might be a lie. Chris starts talking trash. He's basically running a lobby in a fighting game, asking if anyone actually knows how to play. He calls them cowardly, and that's the button you don't press with these guys. Torrin steps up. He's the resident heavy hitter. Chris is smiling. They fell for the oldest bait in the book. He knows they won't teach him their secrets, so he's just going to copy-paste their mud swordsmanship in the middle of the fight. He blocks, analyzes the grip angle, and puts Torrin face first into the sand. The crowd is stunned. He just used their own secret technique to wash their best guy. He turns to Melon and blames her for the knights being pathetic. Melon's veins are popping. She tells him he's getting a bit too carried away. Chris doesn't back down. He challenges her directly. The Birdman scout thinks Christian is suicidal. Melon moves like a blur. She leaves a literal trench in the ground where he was standing. She's glowing purple now. She tells him she can end this in 1 second. Melon is officially done playing. Chris keeps it cool. He suggests they limit themselves to 1-star energy and wooden swords. Melon scoffs. She tells him she'll break both his legs with just half of that. Chris agrees. He puts his legs on the line for the duel. Melon charges. The impact is heavy. Clang. Dodge. Counter. The knights are surprised he's even lasting this long against a deputy commander. Melon is getting frustrated. She can't land a clean hit on a weakling. She realizes he's using the same slip technique he used against Thurn. Chris mocks her. Things aren't going your way, are they? She tells him to shut up. She grips the sword and unloads a massive wave of dark energy. The explosion is huge. The dust cloud covers everything. But Chris was already moving. He slides under her guard, and instead of a sword strike, he goes for the most street fight move possible. A direct headbutt. Melon stumbles back, bleeding from the nose. Chris is huffing, but he's smiling. It worked. He knew she was a spell sword. If her magic is bound, her physical defense is trash. Melon looks at her blood in total disbelief. Then she starts laughing. She admits she looked down on him. She promises to actually focus now. But isn't the fight already over? Chris asks. He reveals he scratched her neck with his nail during the headbutt. If he had used poison, she'd be a memory. Melon accepts the defeat gracefully. She asks what he wants. Chris leans in. The knights can't hear them, but the vibe is tense. He asks her to kneel before him. Melon says that's impossible. Her loyalty is to the main family, House Baron. Chris says that shouldn't be a problem once he becomes the young lord of the entire clan. Melon calls it nonsense. The succession rights are reserved for direct descendants. Chris just grins. There's no rule that says a branch family member can't take the seat. He offers her a rematch in a month. Melon tells him he won't stand a chance next time. Few things are truly impossible, he says. He walks away, leaving her with a promise that she'll realize who she truly belongs to. Back at the estate, he hands over the recommendation letter. He tells the Count that the knight's fundamentals are lackluster. Melon actually shows up to vouch for him. She calls him a genius. The Count is actually visibly sweating. He's looking at his son like he's seeing a ghost. Chibi Chris asks if there's something on his face. The Count finally hands over the key. Christian stands before the massive library doors. Quest clear. He's got the key, and he's starting to build his army. He remembers Melon from his past life. She was a 6-star beast. He needs her. 1 month is all he needs to win her over completely. He reflects on his father. That look from before, it was definitely pride. He wonders if this father might actually be better than his last one. He opens the doors and steps into the light. The library is massive. Forbidden magic is everywhere. Blood studies, curses, summoning. He reaches for a book. And suddenly, a face appears between the shelves. Marie. She's hanging from the ceiling like a horror movie prop. She reveals she used to be the librarian here. She asks if he wants to monopolize her as his personal servant girl. She starts doing the whole ba-dump heart flutter routine. Chris tells her to shut up. Some things never change. Christian is in the library, and he just picked up a 4-star dark magic grimoire called Binding Seal. Marie is skeptical. She tells him point blank that he won't be able to comprehend it at his current level. Our guy just hits her with the "I'm a genius" shrug. Marie stares at him, probably wondering if she should update his medical insurance. She tries to give him a thumbs up, but even she can't fake being that impressed yet. She asks why he specifically chose a binding spell. Christian's answer? He's catching a rat. The next day, Christian is back at the training grounds, but the vibe is completely off. He's running through his suspect list. Potential rat number 1, Thurn. Potential rat number 2, Cox. Someone gave him that dreamstone to ruin his life. He decides that the best way to find the culprit is to act like the total failure they want him to be. He starts screaming that the training is too hard. He just throws his hands up and quits. The knights are looking at him like he just uninstalled the game mid-match. At dinner, he goes full Karen. He slams the table and yells at the servants. He demands they remake his food, acting like a spoiled brat on a reality show. Count Khazar looks genuinely pained. He thinks his son's growth was just a glitch. The Count walks out, and you can see the disappointment in his back. Christian feels a little bad about it, but this is the meta play. He spends the next few days spreading rumors, wasting money, and being an absolute menace to the staff. He's pouring wine like it's water. He yells at Marie for not letting him drink, but Marie is actually looking out for him. She made all the wine non-alcoholic because he's underage. She tells him she'll stay by his side no matter what, which is peak servant girl energy. Christian drops the act for a second to show her a complex magic circle. Marie's jaw hits the floor. He already mastered the binding seal. While everyone thought he was being a degenerate, he was actually labbing high-tier spells in his room. Marie is starting to realize her master might actually be the most cracked person in the Empire. Suddenly, Thurn walks in. Christian immediately switches back to drunk mode. Thurn is furious. He thought his brother had finally changed for the better. Christian sees that anger and grins. Real anger means Thurn isn't the rat. A culprit would be happy to see him failing. He tells Thurn to chill out and reveals that the whole drunk loser thing is just an act. He lets Thurn taste the wine to prove it's just grape juice. Thurn is officially off the suspect list. The atmosphere gets serious. Christian tells him the bait is set. He starts acting out again, screaming for the butler. A random servant tells him Cox is preoccupied. Christian decides to pay him a visit personally. The impact of the wine bottle hitting the desk is enough to wake the dead. Christian stumbles into Cox's office, acting completely wasted. He starts pouring wine directly onto Cox's head. Cox tries to be professional, but the disrespect is reaching 100%. Christian tells him to go get the proper wine himself. Cox is gripping his desk so hard his knuckles are turning white. Christian starts tapping Cox's face, mocking him for having to work while covered in juice. Cox grits his teeth and agrees to go. As soon as the butler leaves, Christian's eyes go sharp. He saw it. For a split second, Cox wasn't just annoyed, he was murderous. Christian starts digging through the papers on the desk. Bingo. He finds evidence that Cox has been doing some creative accounting with the family gold. Cox returns with the wine, acting like nothing happened. Christian hits him with the fake, "You're my favorite" line. Then Cox drops a message. Christian's old friends want to meet in secret. Cox acts all concerned, saying he shouldn't associate with those people. Christian agrees to meet them. He's walking right into the trap, but he's the one who set the bait. This is going exactly how he wanted. Christian shows up to the secret meeting with the trash squad. There's a young girl there serving them drinks, and she looks terrified. The squad is laughing, calling Christian the best of them for being a fellow degenerate. They hand him a drink and tell him to chug. Christian doesn't drink it. He throws the glass right into the speaker's face. The impact covers the guy in red wine. Christian tells him he's tainting the alcohol. Our guy realizes there's a drug in the drink. He reaches out and taps the young girl on the forehead with a bit of mana. The squad is shocked. They didn't think he knew any magic at all. Christian stands up. The time for talking is officially over. He grabs one of the guys by the hair and slams him into the table. The impact shatters the plates and sends food flying everywhere. He starts bouncing the guy's head off the wood like a basketball. He pulls a knife and tells them they can either start talking or start dying. Suddenly, they're very cooperative. They confess they were ordered to drug him and frame him for the girl's murder. Christian asks who gave the order. The guy hesitates, so Christian drives the knife into the floor between his legs. He screams out the name. Cox. It was the butler. They swear to do anything if he spares them. Christian says, "All right," and then blasts them with the binding seal. They go limp. Stage 1 is complete. Cut to the Count's office. Cox runs in, acting like he's just seen a tragedy. He tells the Count that Christian has committed murder. He claims Christian got drunk and killed his own server. He's doing his best worried servant act, asking the Count what they should do. The Count orders them to bring Christian to the Fiend Court. Cox has a tiny smirk on his face. He thinks he's finally won. The court is assembled. It's an immediate trial with high stakes. Christian stands in the center and simply says he is innocent. The Count asks how he can lie when there are witnesses. Christian tells them there must be a misunderstanding. The doors open, and Christian asks if the dead servant is this girl right here. The trash squad looks like they've just seen a ghost. Literally, the girl tells the court that Christian saved her and even paid her rent. She points at the squad and tells everyone they tried to drug the young master. The room starts murmuring. The trap is snapping shut. Christian decides to bring the trial to its climax. He activates the binding seal on the squad, and they start confessing everything. Cox starts screaming that it's slander and they're all framing him. Christian expected that reaction. He's already 3 moves ahead. He asks the Count for one specific favor. He wants to act as a proxy of the Count's authority to question Cox directly. The Count is silent for a long moment, watching his son. He grants it. He tells Cox to stand at the defendant's podium. Christian walks up, looking like he's about to finish a speedrun. He starts reciting his titles and authority like a true noble. He asks Cox if he swears to only tell the truth. Cox says, "I swear." Christian asks him again, more formally. Cox says it a second time. As soon as the second "I swear" leaves his mouth, the seal activates. The onlookers realize what's happening. This is 4-star dark magic. Cox feels the weight of the spell crushing his will. Christian asks him again, why did he hire those two to slander his name? Cox's mouth moves against his will. He admits he received an order. He confesses that someone knew about his corruption and threatened him. Christian reveals he already knew about the embezzlement. He demands the name of the person who gave the order. The pressure of the seal is tearing Cox apart. He screams the name, Sir Echid. The room goes dead silent. Sir Echid is the second son of the direct main family. Cox realizes he's dead either way now. He tries to run. Christian doesn't let him. The blade cuts through the air. Execution complete. Christian stands over the body and tells the court that the sinner has been punished. The trial is over, and Cox is officially deleted. Christian explains his decision to the Count with zero hesitation. If he'd left the butler alive, the main family would have just bribed or threatened their way out of it. He needs everyone to know that sabotage has a price, and that price is your life. The Count leads him to a private location. It's a secret training ground. Too many ears in the courtroom, and what they're about to discuss is basically high treason. The Count is worried that calling out Echid will ignite a massive succession war. He thinks Christian acted hastily, even if his reasoning was solid. Christian points out the current options for successor are basically a lunatic or a weakling. Then, he drops the bomb, "I will become the successor." The Count calls it nonsense. Branch families are legally allowed to try, but it never actually happens. Christian isn't interested in the rules. He knows Echid is already moving against them. The Count points out that Christian is lagging behind in rank, but our guy has a plan. He wants to participate in the Sacred Dark Rite in 2 months. The requirement is 2-star rank. Christian is currently 1-star. He tells his dad he'll hit 2-star by then. No big deal. Just a casual rank up. The rumors start spreading through the mansion. The young master is officially a changed man. The servants are gossiping about how the Count is personally training him now. The training is brutal. Most senior knights can't handle it. But Christian is doing something better. He's combining mud swordsmanship with black scythe swordsmanship. The Count is internally screaming because Christian just mastered a new style in about 5 minutes. Christian asks why they bother keeping the styles separate. He lunges at a training dummy, a human-sized mushroom with hard limbs. He uses the defensive mud style to bind the limbs, then immediately switches to the offensive black scythe style for the kill. He literally wraps one style inside the other. The Count's brain is short-circuiting. A 1-star should not be able to weave energy like this. Christian just says it's super easy. The Count's face in this panel is every teacher who has ever been outsmarted by a student. 15 days later, Christian is on the ground gasping for air. Melon shows up to check on her investment. She's still got that "I could kill you with my pinky" presence. She reminds him the duel is coming up soon. Christian is humble for once, saying he'll learn something even if he loses. Melon laughs and walks off. She's actually enjoying this. Christian's internal monologue, "Melon is an upper 4-star. The power gap is hilarious. Even as an upper 1-star, he's basically an ant compared to her. But he's a rich ant. Time to be a wallet warrior." He gets ready for an outing and asks Marie if she's packed. Marie shows up dressed to impress. She looks like she's ready for a Victorian tea party, not a scouting mission. Christian tells her she's not invited. Marie starts acting like she's about to get heat stroke, which is impressive since she's a literal ghost. Christian asks the Count how to get rid of her. He wants a human attendant, someone who doesn't offer him blood juice every 10 minutes. The Count explains the contract. The only way to avoid it is a deep kiss. Christian decides Marie can stay. Forever. He tells her she can come, but she has to stay hidden. Marie pulls the lonely ghost card, saying she's been stuck in the mansion for decades. Christian actually feels a tiny bit of empathy. He caves. She can come, but if she scares the locals, she's grounded. Marie is over the moon. She asks where they're going. Christian says, "Somewhere I can make a profit." He catches her trying to steal gold coins from the luggage and has to remind her they're already rich. She asks if they're after gold or land. Christian says it's something he used to use in his past life. They reach the destination, and who is waiting there but Thurn? He claims he's there to monitor Christian so he doesn't embarrass the family. Christian pulls out a stack of cash and puts on his gambler persona. He points out that for fiends, gambling is basically a national pastime. Thurn decides to follow him inside. Christian mocks him, asking if the little nerd is worried about his big bro. Thurn gets defensive, acting like gambling is just simple card games. Christian is internally laughing. He's marked Thurn as today's designated pushover. They arrive at the casino, a massive, opulent building. Marie is impressed. She's never seen anything like it. Thurn hands out masks. You can't enter without concealing your identity. Christian tells Marie to go invisible and scouts the room. He whispers a secret order to her. Marie vanishes. The game is afoot. They walk into the main hall. The place is packed with nobles and high rollers. The local sharks immediately mark them as born suckers. Christian makes a bet with Thurn. Whoever makes more money in an hour wins. If Christian wins, Thurn has to call him Honorable King Emperor, Majesty Brother. He hands Thurn a bag of money and asks if he's scared. Thurn snaps and takes the bait. The kid is on fire. He thinks he's got this. The cards are dealt. Christian wins the first few rounds. He explains the logic. Conmen always let you win a bit first to get you overconfident. He knows exactly how they work. Meanwhile, Thurn is already losing his mind. He was sure he had a good hand. Christian tells him to just go home and go to bed. They start bickering about who lost more money. It's peak sibling behavior. The conmen in the back are whispering, delighted by the suckers. Christian notes that the trap is set. Thurn demands more money. He's tilted. Christian gives him the cash with a "don't say I didn't warn you" smirk. He wants Thurn to be the perfect bait. Thurn goes back to the table, sweating. The conmen move in for the kill. Bingo. Marie reappears next to Christian. She found exactly what he asked for, the men behind the con. Thurn lets out a scream because he just lost 10,000 rupees. Christian gives him a super thumbs up. They head to the Merchant Guild building nearby. Christian kicks the door open. The guards pull their weapons, but Christian just takes off his mask. The guards recognize him immediately. The trash young master name is doing heavy lifting here. Grantel, the guild master, shows up bowing and scraping. Christian asks to talk in private. He drops the act. He knows Grantel owns the casino. He points out that Grantel just conned Count Khazar's heir. Grantel tries to play it off as a mistake. Christian hits him with the "you wanna die" look. Grantel goes face first into the carpet, begging for mercy. He offers compensation. Christian asks for 1 million rupees. Grantel nearly has a stroke. Christian magnanimously drops it to 200,000. It's basically the guy's entire life savings, and Christian is loving it. But he's not done. He wants one more thing. He points to a specific piece of gear in the shop. Marie calls it a super scheme. Christian agrees. It's a sword. Its name is Grenade. It's an old holy sword from a fallen hero. Marie points out it looks like a rusty piece of junk. Christian just says it's all part of the plan. Marie stops him before they leave. She gives him a gift, a necklace with a cross-shaped pendant. Christian is stunned. In 2 lifetimes, this is the first time anyone has just given him a gift for no reason. He thanks her, genuinely. Marie is beaming. She promises to make even tastier blood juice to celebrate. Christian is already running away from the joke. As they walk home, Christian feels like he's forgetting something. Cut back to the casino. Thurn is still at the table, wearing a tiger mask with exactly 1 rupee left. Morning in the Khazar estate starts with a scream that could wake the dead. Thurn is back, and he is not having a good time. He's currently vibrating with enough rage to power a small city because our guy abandoned him at the casino. He was almost sold into slavery, which honestly sounds like a skill issue, but luckily someone recognized him. Christian doesn't even look up. He just reminds his little brother that a bet is a bet, and the price for losing that bet, Thurn has to address him with a very specific, very ridiculous title. Thurn's pride is currently in a chokehold. He's stuttering, he's shaking, he's regretting every life choice that led to this moment. Finally, he lets it rip. Esteemed King Emperor Majesty Brother. Christian is living his best life. He tells the kid to stay humble and keep working hard. Absolute menace behavior. Thurn storms out, swearing revenge, which we all know is never going to happen. Christian watches him go and remembers that in the original timeline, this adorable kid grew up to be the one who ended him. But the real final boss is Echid, the golden boy of the main family, the guy who thinks the world belongs to him. Our guy isn't the original Christian, so he doesn't feel the trauma, but he's definitely keeping the receipts. Repayment is coming. But to take on the main family, he needs the branch family's muscle on his side, and that means melon. Step 1. The sword. Grenade. It looks like a piece of rusted scrap metal wrapped in chains, but Christian knows better. This is a legendary holy sword, a weapon of pure light. In the past, countless fiends tried to use it and ended up getting fried like cheap bacon. Christian decides it's time for a test drive. The second he touches the chains, the sword's security system kicks in. It immediately realizes it's being touched by someone with dark mana and starts throwing a tantrum. Total rejection. It's built to burn anyone who isn't a child of light, but Christian isn't a normal user. He views the sword as a machine with a logic gate he can hack. He pulls out a hammer and starts performing what looks like aggressive blacksmithing on a finished blade. The impact echoes through the room as he literally beats the mana frequency into submission. He treats the legendary artifact like a misbehaving pet. He's planning on hitting it all night until it submits. This guy is literally bullying a sword into working for him. A few days later, we're at the secret training grounds for the rematch everyone has been waiting for. But there's a new player on the board. A woman in a purple dress and a lace veil. Christian recognizes her immediately. Meet Marion, commander of the Black Shadow Knights, the clan's personal ghost. She's the one who handles the stuff the regular knights aren't allowed to know about. Christian is actually worried for a second. If someone this high up is here, his trash act might be under investigation. She says she's here about the cock situation, calling Christian's execution of the butler a cheeky act. Our guy doesn't flinch. He asks if the elder clan head is really that bored. Marion likes the confidence. She tells him the big boss isn't interested in kids' games. Instead, he's interested in Christian himself. That's a massive flag. File that away. She thinks he's an idiot for challenging Melon before he's even a 2-star. Then Christian pulls out the rusted hunk of junk. The room goes quiet. Marion realizes exactly what that sword is. She thinks he's finally lost his mind. She looks at the Count, basically asking if his son is trying to commit suicide by holy sword. Christian's logic is simple. Win by any method. Method doesn't matter if you're the one left standing. Marion warns him that the elder clan head couldn't even tame that blade. It'll burn him to ashes. Christian just smiles and unsheathes it. The blade glows with a golden light. It's not burning him. Everyone's brain just stalled. He hands it to Marion to prove it's the real deal. The second her hand touches it, the holy energy rejects her so hard it sends her flying back. She's stunned. She wants to know how he's doing it. Christian leans in with that main character smirk. His answer? Because I am a genius. The Count looks like he wants to cry tears of joy and frustration at the same time. Marion starts laughing. She's finally entertained. But then a blur of speed cuts the conversation short. Melon has arrived, and she's not here for a friendly chat. She tells him today is his last day in this world. Melon isn't holding back this time. She moves like a lightning strike. The impact of her first swing creates a shockwave that tears up the stone floor. Christian blocks, but he can feel the difference. Without her self-imposed restrictions, Melon is a monster. The gap in raw power is massive. Christian knows he can't win a fair fight, so he stops trying to fight fair. Marion notices something insane. The Holy Sword is actively countering Melon's dark energy. Melon pushes him, shocked that he's actually keeping up with her speed. Marion points it out to the Count. Look at how the boy is moving. Every time the blades meet, the golden light of Grenade eats away at Melon's mana. She takes a hit and gasps. The holy power is like poison to her. The Count notices Christian's mana is fluctuating. He thinks the boy is losing control. Marion corrects him. He's not losing control, he's vibrating his mana at such a precise frequency that the sword thinks he's a holy user. They're basically watching a guy defuse a bomb while running a marathon. Melon backs off. She realizes he isn't just reacting, he's predicting her. Christian just shrugs. I happen to be pretty observant. He explains the basics. Every expert has tells. Shoulder movements, upper body shifts. If you know what to look for, the swing is old news before it even starts. Melon decides if she can't hit him with a sword, she'll use the spell part of Spell Sword. She unleashes a swarm of dark energy tendrils that wrap around him. She reminds him that the Black Swamp Knights are masters of binding magic. There's a flash of light. Christian stands there, completely untouched. The darkness just evaporated. He pulls out a necklace, a cleansing artifact he borrowed from his father's secret vault. The Count looks like he's about to have a heart attack. That was supposed to be in a locked safe. Christian just gives that whoops face. I'm prone to thievery sometimes. He tells her that having better gear is a skill. Pay to win is a valid strategy. He tosses a small black marble at her. It explodes into a cloud of corrosive energy. Melon dodges, but the cloud follows her like a homing missile. Christian mentions he bought that with the money he extorted from the Merchant Guild. He's literally using his previous wins to fund his current ones. The explosion fills the area with fire and smoke. Suddenly, Christian drops from the sky, blade first. He used the smoke as a screen to get above her. The blades clash again, and the shockwave clears the entire training ground. Christian lands perfectly. He's winning the mental game. The Count is beaming with pride now. He's fully convinced his son is a genius. Marion just looks thoughtful. Melon isn't done. She walks out of the smoke, and something has shifted. She's not just fighting now, she's enjoying it. She has that wild, jagged-toothed grin of a warrior who finally found a worthy challenge. She asks what he's got next. Marion thinks Melon has finally lost her mind and wants to stop the duel, but Christian is already moving. He doesn't use the sword this time. He meets her fist with his palm, redirecting her entire momentum. Melon's eyes go wide as she realizes her own force is being used against her. Christian pins her with the sword at her throat. Looks like it's my victory. He asks if she's satisfied. Melon stares at the rusted blade an inch from her skin. The Count is cheering internally, and Marion hides a smile behind her hand. Melon bursts out laughing. She's officially cooked. Christian reminds her of his previous request. He wants her loyalty. But he won't force it. He gives her that genuine winning smile. Melon takes his hand. She's in. The Khazar family just gained their most dangerous commander. Later that evening, Marion stands alone, looking out over the estate. She's replaying that fight in her head. She remembers showing the sword to the elder clan head earlier. He had told her it was impossible for even him to wield it for long. He said nobody in the world could constantly change their mana frequency mid-combat to fool the blade. Maybe a demon from the deepest pit of hell, or a legendary dragon, or a crazy bastard who breathes dark energy. Marion looks at the reports. She realizes Christian didn't just win a duel. He proved he is something that shouldn't exist. We start the day in the kitchen. Standard high fantasy kitchen vibes, giant orc chefs violently murdering strawberries for a cake. Because apparently, even the most aggressive monsters in this world have a passion for patisserie. Christian is watching this with a "why am I here" expression while Marie hovers in the background being a fangirl. The orc head chef asks what the young master is doing in the splash zone. Our guy says he's here to bake cookies for someone special. Marie immediately has a mental breakdown thinking there's a secret girl, but Christian is like, it's technically for a woman, but chill. He decides to get his hands dirty. No magic, just vibes and flour. He's getting hit with strawberry juice like it's a Tarantino movie. At this point, I'm 50% sure the red stuff in those bowls isn't just fruit juice. Later that day, Marion is about to head out. She's looking as cold and lethal as ever. Christian runs up to say goodbye, acting like the perfect, thoughtful nephew. And he presents her with the gift of gaining political influence, cookies. Marion tries to play it cool, but the chibi blush says everything. The Count is watching from the window thinking his son is a 500 IQ diplomat. Marion takes a bite. The Shadow Commander, master of 1,000 secret kills, is currently experiencing a flavor-induced spiritual awakening. She admits they are tasty. Christian sees the opening and goes for the throat. He asks her to become his true aunt. I want you to be my personal lobbyist in the main family. Marion isn't stupid. She knows he wants her support in the succession war. She shuts him down immediately. Rules of the clan: adults stay neutral. No playing favorites in the right. Christian pivots. He acts hurt. Auntie, I just wanted to be closer to you. He turns on the charm. Literal puppy eyes. Sparkles. The whole 9 yards. He tells her that if she happened to secretly cherish him, he wouldn't mind. Marion actually laughs. She likes the audacity. She agrees to cherish him for now, but in exchange, she wants more cookies. Christian winks. Depends on how nice you are to me, Auntie. This man is playing a dangerous game. Her expression goes serious again. She asks him if he wants to join the Black Shadow Knights. She saw his duel with Melon. She knows he has a ceiling higher than anyone else. She says his talent might even surpass the Elder Clan head. But the right isn't a friendly sparring match. It's a bloodbath. She's worried he'll get crushed before he can peek. Christian's response? If he can't climb the mountain, he doesn't mind dying. Total main character moment. He doesn't think he can lose. Marion sees the fiend in him, that unhinged drive for strength. She realizes she can't stop him from walking the bloody path, so she gives him one final piece of advice before she rides off. Watch out for the first young lady, Julianne. Everyone says she's a saint, but Marion says she's the real threat. File that under problems for later. Christian watches her go, processing the warning. The alliance is semi-formed. Back in his room, our guy just collapses. Even with 200 IQ, keeping up appearances is exhausting. He realizes the power scale in this empire is way off compared to his old memories. There are 6-star masters he never even heard of during the war. The history is already changing. He needs more power, and he needs it yesterday. 1 month later. Time skip training arc completed. The Count calls him in and then stops mid-sentence. Christian is standing there, literally glowing with mana. The Count looks like he just saw a cat bark. 2-star in 1 month is unheard of. Christian just shrugs. I told you I'd do it. Why the long face? He asks why his dad called him in the middle of the night. The Count pulls out a letter from the main family. They approve Thurn for the sacred dark rite. But Christian? Denied. The reason? Gambling. Womanizing. Property damage. Thievery. The Count is punching air because everything they said is technically true. Christian asks if this was Echid's doing. Nope. It was Loin de Baron, Echid's brother and the projected winner of the Rite. Quick lore dump, the Rite is a battle royale in a darkness dimension. You kill, you rank up, you take the mana for yourself. If Loin wins and takes all the mana, Christian's path to young lord gets a lot harder. The Count wants to beg Marion for help. Christian stops him. Leave it to the adults, his dad says. For the first time, Christian sees his father actually acting like a father. Then he gets that I'm about to commit a crime grin. He asks if the Tiraman branch family is going to be there. The Tiramans are the guys who talk trash about Christian the most. They host something called a black pill hunt. Christian decides he's going to crash the party as a herder. Perspective shift. The imperial capital. Marion is reporting to the Elder Clan head. She says Christian is incomparable. The old man doesn't believe it. He remembers Christian as a false prodigy brat. Marion insists he's changed. The old man asks the big question, can this child fulfill my long-desired wish? Marion says he's the closest they've ever had. The clan head decides to keep an eye on him. He won't intervene in the right rejection. He wants to see if the fierce beast can handle a small trial. Marion is sweating. The old man is terrifying. He realizes Marion actually likes the kid. Then he summons his shadows. Meet Simon, head butler, high-tier blood drinker. He's been eavesdropping the whole time. The old man orders him to go observe Christian. Simon asks if he can pull a small prank while he's at it. The old man says, don't go overboard, which in villain speak means do whatever you want as long as he lives. Simon's smile is pure nightmare fuel. Marion is just hoping the kid survives. Back with our guy. He's realized that even at 2-star, his mana pool is trash. He needs a black pill to force a rank up to 3-star. He's hunting a demon beast called a Karajoff. But first, he stops by a carriage to see his favorite victim, the merchant guildmaster, Grantel. The man tries to offer a gift to make him go away, a bag of gold. Christian calls it pathetic. He leans in. I heard you've been doing some illegal stuff, Grantel. Tax evasion. kidnapping, swindling. Grantel is literally being pecked to death by Christian's mental pressure. Christian asks for an ash pill. Grantel says they are expensive and rare on the black market. Christian looks at Marie. Marie goes full horror movie banshee. Red eyes. My torture skills are supush! Grantel folds immediately. Christian also asks for an armor-piercing dagger while he's at it. See ya. He leaves Grantel crying in the street. Pure menace. Marie asks if they're heading home. Nope. One more stop. An apothecary. Christian walks in and points to a specific bottle. The pink stuff. Marie is horrified. Our guy just bought a high-grade aphrodisiac. So, we're back at the apothecary. And the vibes are, let's say, uncomfortable. Marie is 100% convinced our guy is ready to retire from the hero business and start a different kind of career. Christian is fighting for his life, trying to explain that the aphrodisiac is for a plan. Then he drops the biggest lie of the century. It's for my father. He's getting old, I gotta look after him. The shopkeeper's face says it all. He doesn't know if he should respect the filial piety or call the guards. Christian makes him swear to keep it a secret. Poor Count Khazar, his reputation is getting nuked and he isn't even in the room. Speaking of the Count, it's time for Christian to head out to the Tiraman estate. He forces Thurn to use his full King Emperor title one last time in front of their dad. Thurn is dying inside, but honestly, skill issue. Don't lose bets to your older brother. The Count tells Christian to go flatten the Tiraman punks. He's officially a doting father now. Christian promises glorious news, which we all know means he's going to rob them blind. The Count is left wondering what the King Emperor thing was about. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, Dad. Fast forward to the Tiraman estate. A goblin doorman tries to block Christian at the gate because of his trash reputation. Apparently, Lord Alros gave the order to treat him like a scoundrel. Christian gives him the cold stare. The I've killed gods and you're a level 5 NPC stare. The goblin folds like a lawn chair. Christian's bodyguard wants to cut the guy's throat, but our guy has a much more expensive revenge in mind. He asks who's paying for the hotel. The goblin says it's on the Tiraman family tab. Christian's face lights up. He's about to commit credit card fraud. He finds the most expensive sparkling mansion in the capital. Top-tier luxury. Total overkill. He walks in like he owns the place. The bill comes out to a whopping 100,000 lupe. Christian doesn't blink. Burning someone else's money is his favorite hobby. He tells his crew to unpack and get ready to drink. But one of the trunks starts vibrating. Surprise! Marie snuck in with the luggage. She's acting like this is a romantic honeymoon getaway. She calls herself the maid who promised him eternity. Christian just looks tired. She starts teasing him about his shy face. This ghost is a menace. But the party is crashed by Alros, the third son of Tiraman. He's holding the 100K bill and vibrating with enough rage to transcend space-time. Christian just hits him with the "are you salty because you're broke" line. Absolute 10-10 disrespect. Alros decides he's done talking. He pulls out a dark magic seal. The energy is thick and suffocating. Meet Choco, a massive leopard controlled by Tiraman-style beast magic. Christian analyzes the technique instantly. Unlike normal taming, this is dark magic that uses dread and domination to break a beast's spirit. They weave in enchantments of confusion and fear to dull their instincts. Christian thinks it's complex, but he's already bored. He decides to just beat them down. He tells Marie he needs a weapon to deal with the super scary kitty. Marie hands him a wooden stick. Christian doesn't care. He tells Alros to come at him like a demon would. Choco lunges. It's a blur of claws and teeth. Christian meets the leopard head-on. He wedges the stick into the beast's mouth. Then he performs a perfect tactical slide under the beast. He tells Alros that 2-on-1 is cheap, but he's clearly just having fun. He raises the stakes. If he wins, he's joining the hunt as a bodyguard, not a driver. Alros goes full arrogant noble mode. He wants Christian begging for mercy. He orders the leopard to kill. The beast lunges again, teeth bared. It slams into the ground where Christian was standing, but our guy is gone. Where'd he go? Alros asks. Right behind you, kid. Christian drops a heavy elbow on Alros' neck. The blonde brat gets pummeled into the pavement. Christian walks away like he's bored. Aww, does it hurt? No crying, okay? Alros crawls back to his beast, sobbing with rage. He tells Christian to shut his damn mouth. Behind Christian, a massive skeleton shadow appears. Alros tries to summon a horse beast to turn the tide. But the animals are terrified. Choco is curled into a ball, shaking. The leopard is officially broken by Christian's sheer presence. Christian just smirks. He used a measly 2-star illusion to make himself look like the Grim Reaper. Alros tries to cast a heavy transformation spell. A dark horse emerges from a blood-red circle. Christian asks him if he knows the thing about punks. He doesn't wait for the horse to finish summoning. A single wooden stick to the jaw. The horse gets banished back to the Shadow Realm before it even fully manifested. Christian's advice for the day: real fights don't have casting times or cutscenes. Alros is left crying over his fainted pets. Total L. Night falls at the capital. Christian is at the casino, looking like the ultimate scoundrel. He's stacking chips and acting like he's just here to party. Marie is serving him drinks, being the perfect bad influence maid. But take a close look at the glass. It's ginger ale. Our guy can't handle alcohol. He's literally faking being a drunk noble with soda. In the corner, two of Alros's goons are watching him with pure disgust. Christian invites them to join. Hey, you guys want to join in? He tells them their master won't be getting up until tomorrow. Maximum salt. They refuse, and he just tells them to enjoy the show. He calls for everyone to drink on his tab, Alros's tab. The sun sets. The party goes wild. The guards are watching him like hawks. Eventually, Christian collapses onto the gambling table, passed out from the booze. The observers decide he's not even worth watching anymore. They file their report and leave. The second they are gone, our guy opens one eye. The drunk act was just a low-tier bait to drop his tail. He checks the window. No more eyes on him. Annoying bastards, he mutters. It's time to move. He grabs his gear and tells Marie not to follow him. Marie gives him the blank stare of someone who knows exactly what's in his bag. Young master, there's an aphrodisiac in there, right? She thinks he's heading out for a bowed-head nighttime endeavor. Christian snaps. You seriously have no filter! This is a safe-for-all-ages recap! He heads out into the Kython mountain range. This is the hidden domain of House Tyramin. The monster density here is insane. He's searching for something specific. There it is, a ritual site hidden in the woods. Security is lax, only 2 guards. Tyramin is getting complacent. Christian uses the invisibility magic Marie taught him. Marie's voice in his head asks if he's using it to peep. Girl, please. He walks right past the guards like a ghost. Deeper into the forest, the atmosphere shifts. He finds a massive stone altar glowing with a sinister light. This is where the Tyramin hunt reaches its climax. It's eerie as hell. Christian remembers what Lena told him in his past life. To get darkness, you don't just kill a beast. You have to drive it into such extreme fear and frenzy that it willingly takes its own life. In that fleeting moment of absolute terror, their mana transforms into pure darkness. Christian realizes Tyramin's whole power system is built on psychological torture. He planned to steal their secret technique, but he doesn't have time to master their style. He needs a shortcut. Suddenly, he feels a surge of overwhelming malice. He spins around. Who's there? The forest is empty, but the shadows are moving. Christian's instincts are screaming. Heavy footsteps echo on the stone. A swarm of bats takes to the sky. He enters a dark cave and finds something that shouldn't exist in the human realm. He looks down into the abyss. Red glowing eyes and massive magic circles are etched into the rock, a high-level dark magic barrier. This is a rift of Gehenna, a direct portal to the world of demons. If this thing fully opens, it's game over for the capital. Christian realizes he can use this. If he lures the Tyramin beasts here, and he has the perfect bait, the aphrodisiac, he's going to turn the Black Pill hunt into a Gehenna-tier disaster. But he's not alone. A massive red batwing unfolds in the darkness above him. Simon, the blood drinker butler, steps out of the shadows. He's been watching everything. The fight with Alros, the fake gambling, the infiltration. He thinks Christian is fascinating, and Simon loves to mess with fascinating things. He walks up to the rift. He touches the malice-soaked wall with a clawed hand. He slices his own palm, letting high-level fiend blood drip onto the magic circle. A voice echoes from the void. "O betrayer, what is it that you seek?" Simon's eyes glow purple. He just forced the rift to open. In the comments, drop a F for the Tyramin family, because whatever comes out of that hole is going to make Christian look like a saint. Alright, the hunt is officially live. The Tyramin squad is setting up their stakes, and Alros is standing there looking like he's about to lead a parade. He's still salty about getting his face rearranged at the hotel, telling Christian to keep his mouth shut. Christian just checks out the gear. He notes that Alros brought a fancy sword he can't even use. Our guy says the sword works better than a club, and honestly, coming from him, that's a threat. The command is given. The hunters move out to lure the target to the altar. Christian stops for a second. He notices a red bat hanging from a tree. He knows it's a spy, but he plays it off with a "yes sir" as you command to Alros. They reach the designated ritual spot. Alros tells him to sit in a corner and stay out of the way. His men are getting restless, but Alros is focused on the target. The order is simple: Christian, guard the flag. Dutifully guarding the flag like a good scoundrel. He says it like he's a paid actor. Inside his head, he's laughing. Everything is going exactly according to his script. The squad hears a noise in the brush. Something is coming. Something fast. And it's a Karazo. A class 4 beast that looks like a turkey had a midlife crisis. Christian is genuinely confused why it looks so dopey, but don't let the googly eyes fool you. Alros starts the binding ritual immediately. He unleashes his dark magic, trying to cage the bird. But the Karazo isn't playing by the rules today. It lets out a screech that basically shatters the atmosphere. It's not just a beast anymore, it's a drug-fueled engine of destruction. Alros gets sent flying back like he just tried to tackle a moving truck. His men rush to help, but the bird is already preparing a counterattack. Poison clouds everywhere. The mages try to throw up a barrier, but it's like trying to stop a flood with a paper plate. Christian watches the chaos from the sideline. He notes that the aphrodisiac worked a little too well. Alros is choking on the poison, realizing they're in deep trouble. The Karazo is literally stomping through his front line like they're made of Legos. The beast looms over Alros. This is usually where the side character dies to show how high the stakes are. Alros is sweating, his pride finally meeting reality. Then, Christian steps in. He's mocking them, asking if the prestigious House Tiraman needs a flag guard to save them. He offers a deal: call me Hyung, and I'll handle the turkey. Alros is hesitant, but his men are currently being turned into bird feed. He grits his teeth. The choice is death or embarrassment. Help me! YOU bastard! That's as close to a Hyung as our guy is going to get for now. Christian moves. He blocks a strike with his bare arm. Then he unleashes a binding spell of his own. Dark thorns and chains wrap around the Karazo, pinning it in place. Alros is stunned. He thought his family's technique was a secret. Christian just tells him it's basic mid-level magic. Maximum disrespect. He grabs the chains and starts dragging the beast. He's not killing it yet. He's taking it to the basement. He dives into the Gehenna Rift cave. He gives Alros a look that says, "Don't follow me if you want to keep your soul." Inside the cave, the aura changes. The malice of Gehenna is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The Karazo finally snaps. Its eyes glow. It realizes where it is, and it's terrified. This is it. The peak moment of fear. Christian stabs it with the whitewood dagger. He's literally harvesting the terror. Alros and his team catch up, gasping for air in the toxic aura. They see Christian standing over the beast, covered in blood. And in his hand is a glowing silver pearl. It's not darkness. It's ashen. High-grade mana compressed into a single ball. Alros is speechless. He's never seen a pill this pure. The men are still panicking, but Alros tells them to drop it. He actually thanks Christian. "Thanks for saving my men." Christian feels a tiny bit bad because he's the one who drugged the bird in the first place, but he gets over it in about 3 seconds. He demands the payment. "Time to call me Hyung." They start bickering like siblings, but Christian's expression suddenly shifts. He goes cold. The men behind Alros start collapsing. A presence is rising from the rift, something much bigger than a bird, a demon of Gehenna. Specifically, a massive ogre that looks like he eats 5 stars for breakfast. Alros tells Christian to run. He's terrified, but he's actually trying to protect the punk. Christian looks at the red bat in the corner. He pulls a dagger. He snipes the bat familiar in midair. If he's going to use his light powers, he can't have any witnesses. Simon, watching from the distance, loses his feed. He's panicked. He was planning on observing, but now he's blind. He realizes if he's late, Christian might actually die, or worse, kill everything. Simon turns into a red blur, racing toward the cave. Back in the cave, the ogre steps forward. Well, what's your game? Christian just smiles. "I just hate being spied on." The ogre thinks he's a dead man walking. Christian calculates the odds. 5-star demon. He stands 0 chance in his current state. But, he points a finger. Alros asks what he's doing, yelling about wasting power. Christian tells him to shut up and sleep. He knocks Alros out with a quick strike to the neck. Witnesses? 0. The ogre is amused. "You're gonna sacrifice him?" Christian pulls out grenade. The ogre laughs. He calls the holy sword a piece of scrap metal. He swings. The impact shakes the entire cavern. Christian gets tossed. He's coughing up blood. His internal organs are currently doing a 1-star review of this experience. The ogre offers to let him slide if he gives up the others as tribute. Christian looks up. His eyes are glowing. Who says we can't use a holy sword? He flips in midair. He lands, and the mana frequency starts to shift. The ashen pill is reacting to his inner light. The blade ignites with a golden flame that illuminates the entire rift. The ogre is losing his mind. How can a demon wield the power of light? Christian's smirk is terrifying. Starting to panic now? The ogre gathers a massive sphere of dark energy. He's going for the wipe. The darkness is crushing, a literal black hole of mana. Christian takes a stance. Dead Sea Flash. A single streak of light that slices through everything in its path. The ogre's face goes from "I'm the king" to "I'm in 2 pieces" instantly. The explosion of light obliterates the demon and the ritual circle. The rift is silenced. Christian is gasping. That move took everything he had, and then some. He realizes his body still isn't ready for that tier of magic. He drops the sword. He collapses onto the cold stone floor. He remembers someone from his past life. A blonde knight. Chris was copying his moves back then too. The Dead Sea Flash is a legacy move, a streak of light through the Dead Sea. The knight told him he wasn't worthy of the light. But you, Chris, you might be the light that saves the world. Back in the present, a hand reaches through the spirit plane. A woman's face. Fascinating. She calls herself Mapina, first seat of the 7 circles of Gehenna. She says she'll be watching his path with great interest. We open at the Tiraman estate. Our guy finally wakes up and realizes he's been AFK for 2 whole days. The first thing he does is a quick inventory check. The loot is still there. But he's got a bigger problem. A high-ranking devil named Mapina put a mark on him. In this world, demons give blessings to talent they want to recruit. Christian isn't interested in being a diversity hire for hell. He figures if she's only from the 7th circle, he can handle it later. Then someone knocks. Enter Count Tyraman. He looks like a lion decided to start a skincare routine. Christian tries to be respectful, but the Count tells him to stay put. Our guy is just waiting for the catch. The Count explains they checked the cave. The magic circle was tampered with. He thinks the demon was reverse summoned at the last second. Christian realizes they have no idea he deleted the thing. He's happy to let them believe the lie. Then the Count does something unexpected. He apologizes. He admits he thought Christian was a good-for-nothing because of the rumors. He bows. The head of House Tiraman just declared Christian a benefactor. That is a massive political W. Christian puts on his best nice guy mask. He says they're family. In his head, he's internally screaming because saying that out loud actually hurts his soul. The Count is actually moved by the family talk. He offers Christian a blank check. Anything he wants within reason. Christian doesn't ask for money. He asks for House Tyraman to reconcile with House Khazar. He talks about healthy competition and peace. The Count looks confused. He knows the bad blood between them didn't just happen by accident. Christian drops some truth. The main family keeps the branch families fighting so they're easier to control. The Count asks if he's planning a rebellion. Christian just smiles and says he doesn't want to be a pawn in a broken game. The Count agrees. He's going to call Christian's father to settle the beef. Christian's real plan is building a front line for the apocalypse, one ally at a time. Then the Count remembers his son is still standing there like an awkward NPC. Alros hands over the ashen shard. He's been holding on to it while Christian was out. Christian hits him with the "thanks, little brother," and Alros immediately loses his mind. The Count loves the energy. He pulls out a gift of his own. A tier 4 beast summoning stone. This is basically a master ball for this world. He also promises to make sure Christian can attend the sacred darkness ceremony. Everything is going perfectly. The Tiramans leave to let him rest. The room goes quiet. Then, Christian's expression shifts. He tells someone to come out. The shadows move. It's Simon, the chief steward. Christian sensed him because he smelled blood. Simon introduces himself politely, but the vibe is immediately hostile. Christian recognizes the name. This isn't just a butler. In the future, Simon is the leader of the Blood Shadow Corps, a 9-star demon who becomes the 10th Demon King. Christian remembers him as the guy who almost wiped his party dozens of times. He is currently looking at a future world boss in his bedroom. Simon compliments him. Then he drops the bomb. He knows Christian wiped out the demon. Christian panics internally. If Simon saw the Dead Sea Flash, the game is over. He tries to play dumb. Simon explains that he checked the cave himself. There was no trace left, no reverse summoning, just total erasure. He says he's going to report this to Lord Noga as an assessment. Christian doesn't flinch. He asks why he should explain his trump card to a stranger. He tells Simon that Lord Noga would prefer a beast that hides its claws. Simon laughs. He likes the attitude. But then he asks for an apology. He asks how Christian was so sure it was full erasure instead of a reverse summon. Christian points a finger. Because you're the one who summoned it, Chief Steward. Simon freezes. Christian just called out a future Demon King for attempted murder of noble families. Simon's face falls. He realizes he's been checkmated. Christian tells him to keep his secret, and in return, he'll keep Simon's. Simon asks if this is a deal. Christian confirms. Simon vanishes into the darkness, but he won't forget this. He tells Christian he looks forward to seeing him at the main estate. Christian knows Simon is essential for the Age of Ruin. Packing time. Marie is handling the heavy lifting. The door opens. It's Alros. Christian immediately starts trolling him about the Hyung title. Alros is 2 years older, but in this room, Christian is the boss. Alros stops joking. He has a warning. He's genuinely worried. He tells Christian to watch out for Lord Royne. The main house thinks they're on another level compared to branch families. They have the best elixirs, the best magic, and the best ego. To them, Christian is just prey. Alros tells him to skip the ceremony this time for his own safety. Our guy is actually surprised Alros cares. Then Alros realizes he's being soft and goes back to shouting. Christian just gives him a thumbs up and tells him he'll regret it if they meet in the ring. He leaves Alros fuming. Standard brotherly behavior. Back at the Khazar household, Christian doesn't even go to his room. He heads straight for the training hall. Thurn catches him in the hallway. He's demanding that duel Christian promised. Christian notices Thurn hit mid-second rank. That's actually impressive growth. But Christian doesn't have time for a tutorial boss right now. He tells Thurn to keep training and they'll fight later. Thurn warns him it won't be like last time. Christian just waves him off. He looks at Thurn and a memory flashes back. A green-haired girl promising something in the past. He shakes it off. He's alone in his room now. He's got 2 weeks until the ceremony. He takes out the ashen pill and bites it? This isn't a gummy vitamin. It's pure, concentrated Terramana. His body hits the bed as the power starts to tear through his circuits. 15 days later. The time skip is over and Thurn is at the door, ready for that duel he's been obsessing over for 3 chapters. He walks in and immediately hits a wall of pure pressure. Our guy is fully geared up and looking like he just stepped off a high-fashion runway. Thurn can feel the difference. 15 days ago, Christian was strong. Now, he's a problem. Thurn tries to set the stakes. If he wins, Christian has to drop out of the ceremony. Christian basically tells him he's too weak to even be on the battlefield. Thurn does exactly what you'd expect, loses his temper and draws his sword. Christian doesn't even look stressed. He decides the only way to get through to his brother is to beat the lesson into him. The air splits as Thurn is sent flying. It is not a close fight. Cut to the aftermath. Thurn is wrapped in more bandages than a mummy. Even their father thinks Christian went a little too hard this time. Thurn is officially out of the ceremony and he is devastated. Christian asks for a private moment with the patient. The Count leaves. He knows better than to get involved in Khazar brother drama. The room is quiet. Christian calls Thurn out for being petty. Thurn looks like he's about to start crying. He thinks Christian just hates seeing him grow. He's unloading years of baggage, thinking his brother intentionally crippled his dreams. He's replaying the moment he got cooked in slow motion. Christian realizes there's a massive misunderstanding here. He looks at his brother and tells him the truth. He wants him to be strong. But if Thurn competed now, he'd lose the chance to gain the attribute he actually needs. Thurn is confused. Christian tells him the Dark Demon attribute isn't for him. He needs the Ashen Demon. Here is the hierarchy. Dark is the peak, but Ashen is the specialist class for curses and black magic. Thurn asks the question we're all thinking, how does Christian know all this high-level theory? Christian panics for a second because he can't exactly say, I saw it in a dream from 15 years in the future, so he just mumbles something about figuring it out while sparring. He explains that taking the higher attribute too early will just mess up Thurn's foundation. It's advice from a brother who actually gives a damn. Then, he drops a gift on the bed. A healing stone. This thing is worth a fortune. Christian plays it cool, saying he's only giving it because Thurn is his brother. Thurn is officially overwhelmed. He's realizing that the trash brother he used to look down on is actually the only one looking out for him. He flashes back to their mother's passing. The guilt of how he used to treat Christian is hitting him hard. Christian just stands there. He doesn't need an apology. He just needs his brother to stay alive this time. We move to the main estate. The carriage is pulling up and the atmosphere is already toxic. Christian steps out feeling like he's been in a blender. The main house is acting territorial and refusing to open warp gates for branch families. Small dick energy at its finest. Marie zooms in, doing her usual loyal maid bit. She thinks it's a date. Christian reminds her she doesn't have a heart to pound. The main house restricted everyone to one companion. Only Marie was allowed to come. Every other branch family is staring. Christian is already famous, and not for the right reasons. Then a familiar face stops the crowd. People are losing it because the head butler is greeting Christian. Simon is right there. He notices Christian's growth immediately. He's not here for a chat. The patriarch, Lord Noga, wants an audience. Christian isn't even surprised. He walks toward the throne room. The doors open to a room that looks like it belongs in a Dark Souls boss fight. The patriarch is waiting, and he's not alone. Urian is standing right there. Lord Baron calls his name, and the pressure spikes. It's a literal ocean of dark energy. Christian's body wants to buckle, but he forces himself to stay upright. He pays his respects with perfect noble etiquette. The patriarch asks if he's surprised by the summons. Christian leans into it. He says he expected it because a new rising star has appeared. The Duke laughs. He's heard the praise from Marion and Simon, but he's a show me, don't tell me kind of guy. He stares Christian down. He talks about seeds and sprouts, how most promising talents wither before they bloom. Christian agrees. He says he's not yet worthy of the expectations, but he promises he won't give the Duke a reason to be disappointed. The room goes quiet as the two of them lock eyes. The Duke likes the response. Christian is dismissed. He bows and leaves, but the real conversation starts after he's gone. The Duke tells Urian that Christian was beyond his expectations, but he warns that exceptional talent brings a harsher fate. He mentions a storm of blood brewing in the Empire. He sees Christian as a small hope, a hope that might fulfill the Duke's long-cherished wish. File that under definitely ominous. Cut to the ceremony eve party. The announcer shouts Christian's name. He enters the room looking like a 10 out of 10. The whispers start immediately. The other nobles think he's just a pampered brat. Christian hears it all. He wonders if people are just staring because he's too handsome. Marie, of course, agrees. He spots a tray of drinks. He reaches for a glass, thinking he needs something for the stress. The maid stops him. She reminds him he's still underage. He gets handed a ginger ale. Our guy is internally screaming. He's a legendary regressor being treated like a toddler. Then the vibe shifts. The real royals are entering. The main doors swing open. The de Baron siblings arrive in order. Echid de Baron, the second prince. Urian, the first princess. Jupian and Mysak follow behind. They walk past the branch families like they're walking through a garden of weeds. The arrogance is off the charts. Christian notices the first prince didn't attend. He's staring at Echid, the man who framed him and killed him in the original timeline. Echid walks right past him. He won't even meet Christian's eyes. Christian is fuming. He realized Echid doesn't even see him as a human being, just an ant to be stepped on. Urian passes by next. Christian remembers a warning from his past life. Be cautious of Urian. He tries to sense her energy but finds nothing. That's usually the sign of someone truly dangerous. He decides to focus on the ceremony, but he's interrupted. Some guy named Prur, a servant for a rival named Loin, tries to pick a fight. He's being smug, talking about unqualified participants. He basically says Christian is a disgrace to the family name. Christian has had a very long day and zero alcohol. He tells Prur to step up himself if he has a problem. He invites the guy to put on a show right here in the ballroom. Loin is watching from the balcony. Christian puts down his ginger ale. Prur is hesitant because Christian is unarmed. Christian just smiles. He doesn't need a weapon for a side character like this. Prur warns him he'll regret it. Christian's response? The party is officially ruined. Loini's servant, Prur, gets sent flying before the crowd can even blink. But Christian isn't just winning, he's flexing. The crowd is staring like they just saw a glitch in the Matrix. Loini tries to save face by summoning high-level evil spirits to swarm him. Standard villain behavior, if you can't win the 1v1, bring the whole squad. Christian doesn't even move, he just points. And the spirits? They immediately switch teams. They're basically cuddling him while Loini stands there looking like a complete NPC. Christian hits him with that, "Is this all you've got?" smile. Loin is absolutely fuming on the balcony, claiming he had nothing to do with this. Sure, buddy, we totally believe you. Christian just tells him he'll see him at the rite. The next day, the Sacred Dark Rite officially begins. Christian shows up yawning. Alros Tiraman is right there, stressed out of his mind. He can't believe Christian is this relaxed after the ruckus he caused yesterday. Loini walks past them, looking like he spent all night practicing his I'm the villain walk. Christian isn't even looking at him. He's just thinking about lunch. The vice butler, Sebastian, steps forward. He's a tiny old elf guy who looks harmless, but the mana coming off him is no joke. He triggers the entrance, and the floor literally turns into a kaleidoscope. Everyone thinks they're going underground, but they're actually entering a pocket dimension. It's a massive illusory staircase that seems to go on forever. Sebastian starts running, and I mean running. He's a blur. The candidates have to keep up or get left behind in the void. Suddenly, the physics start breaking. The stairs become a vertical slope. Sebastian is just chilling at the top, telling them to hurry up. People start falling. It's an absolute mess. Then Sebastian decides they're too slow and hits the turbo button. He's moving so fast he's creating sonic booms. The weaker candidates are literally being blown away. Loini is at the front, sweating and thinking he's the king of the world. Then he looks to his left. Christian is right there. Not running, just walking, hands in his pockets, not a single drop of sweat. Loini looks like his brain just short-circuited. Here's the trick. In an illusory space, your physical effort doesn't matter. It's a mental game. If you think you're running, you get tired. If you know it's fake, you're basically playing with cheats enabled. They reach the end of the hall. Alrose and the others arrive looking like they just ran a marathon in a sauna. A massive crystal glows in the center of the room. The manager of the sacred ground, Rihu, appears out of thin air. She welcomes them to the source of the clan's power. She's got that "I haven't slept in 3 centuries" look. The real test is about to begin. Rihu doesn't waste time. The goal is the great pure darkness, the power of the third demon king. She opens 5 different gates. Alros is already panicking because he's still catching his breath. The catch? There isn't enough pure darkness for everyone. It's a race through a gauntlet of demon beasts. Christian clarifies, so it's just first come, first served? Rihu confirms. The most perceptive guy in the room is already planning his route. The countdown starts. Rihu tells them to focus on their own safety. 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone vanishes into their respective tunnels. Sebastian tries to bet some blood juice on who wins. Rihu is not amused. She just ignores him. Deep in the tunnels, the fighting starts. Loine is tearing through monsters like a man possessed. He's facing low-rank beasts and feeling like a god. He's blasting firewolves and crushing heads with dark mana. He's confident because he knows he's an upper 2-star, but then he reveals his master plan. He bribed one of the mages to manipulate the gates. Christian's path isn't full of low-rank scrubs. It's packed with high-level predators designed to turn him into a snack. Loin reaches the final door thinking he's officially the winner. "You're late. What took you so long?" Loin nearly jumps out of his skin. Christian is already there. Leaning against the wall, Loin literally stammers. He accidentally blabs about the sabotage. Christian just smiles. He admits the monsters were a bit tougher than expected, but they're all dead now. Loin loses it. He breaks the taboo and attacks Christian directly. He uses a magic combat art, explosive mana at close range. He swings. Christian doesn't even draw a weapon. He weaves through the punches like they're in slow motion. Loin is swinging at ghosts. Christian sees an opening. Loin thinks he's got him. "You dummy!" Christian grabs his wrist, twists, and slams him into the floor. He tells Loin not to cry even if it hurts. Cold. He hits him with a point-blank mana burst that knocks him out cold. A few minutes later, Alros Tiraman finally stumbles into the room. He sees Loin's unconscious body and looks at Christian like he's a serial killer. Christian asks if he wants to faint on his own or if he needs help. Alros tries to put up a fight, charging up his mana. One panel later, Alros is snoring on the floor next to Loin. Christian stands before the final gate. He thinks about the Great War 5 years from now. He can't afford to be generous. He needs every ounce of power he can get. He pushes the doors open. Sacred darkness. The progenitor took 90%. The current clan head took 80%. Christian? He's going for the full 100%. He's standing in front of a literal sun of pure nightmare energy, and he's decided he wants to be the Demon Emperor's boss one day. Meanwhile, back in reality, the vibe is not great. The other candidates are being carried out on stretchers. Loin looks like he got hit by a truck. The elders are already calling for an investigation, thinking Christian cheated. But a voice shuts them down. It's the second young lady. She says there's no point in a trial for a dead man. It's been 2 days. Even the progenitor hit a limit. To her, Christian isn't a winner. He's just a pile of dust at the bottom of a mine. She walks away, convinced the problem solved itself. She's actually annoyed. She wanted to kill him herself. See, her position in the clan is shaky. Her father died, her brother is a loser, and now Christian is making the branch families look too good. She needs him gone to secure her future. Outside, even the maids are talking trash. They see a ghostly figure waiting by the window and assume it's mourning its dead master. Bad move. That's Marie. And she's about 2 seconds away from turning this estate into a graveyard. She sends them running for their lives with a single look. Then she looks back at the mine. She's genuinely worried. A man who makes a maiden wait is not cool at all. Christian actually hears that, or maybe he just feels the murderous intent. Inside the mine, he's drowning. He's at 70%, and the darkness is choking him. Most people would quit. Most people aren't Christian. If he takes in too much, his core shatters. Game over. But then he remembers the ultimate hack. A dragon heart. The largest container in existence. He can't grow one, but he can imitate the structure for a few minutes. It's working, but the strain is literal torture. Then, a voice whispers in the dark. Do you require help, Mafina? The demon ruler from the rift. She's inside his conceptual space, watching him struggle. She offers him a freebie, no strings attached. Christian is suspicious. Why would a literal demon goddess care? Just a fleeting whim. She reaches out her hand. 1 week later, the high-tier nobles are having tea and talking about Christian in the past tense. Urian thinks he was just a greedy brat who bit off more than he could chew. The acting head, Langham, is already planning to seal the mine. To them, the ceremony is over. But Langham sees right through the Duke's silence. He asks if the Duke thinks the kid is still alive. Simon, the vampire butler, is just standing there looking smug. The Duke stares into his tea. Keep it open for one more day. Urian isn't happy, but you don't argue with the Duke. The estate is peaceful. For now, back in the abyss, something is breaking. Christian is at the absolute limit. Mafina is telling him to grab her hand before he explodes. I refuse. He's really going to die just because he's too stubborn to take a handout. Mafina calls him a fool. No human can hold this much. You're forgetting something, Christian shouts. This is a world of concepts. He's not a human right now. He's a series of high-level code executing in a void. His eyes go white. Something new is manifesting. Demonization. It's a forbidden spell from the Mystic Magic Clan. Usually it's a suicide move. You get massive power, but you die immediately after. Christian is rewriting the spell mid-cast. He's removing the parts that amplify energy and keeping only the container aspects. It works. He's gone beyond 90%. Mafina is actually stunned. A black crescent appears on his forehead. He's shed his mortal limitations. He looks at the demon goddess and smirks. Didn't you know? I'm a genius. He starts to leave, telling her she can keep living in his head if she wants. Mafina laughs. I will see you again in another time. She tries to leave him with an ominous parting gift. Christian's response? He literally flips her off. Piss off. He is not doing the fated meeting tropes today. Anyway, he checks the time. It's been a week. The main family is definitely throwing a party thinking he's dead. Shall I play a little prank? Cut to the main house. Langham is in a meeting when a guard bursts in. Young Master Christian has returned. Langham looks like he just saw a ghost. Christian is carried in on a stretcher. He looks like a mess. The reports say his core is a roiling mess and his energy is unstable. The nobles are relieved. They think he wasted the sacred darkness and crippled himself for life. They want him to take responsibility. Langham dismisses the meeting, acting like a disappointed parent. Once the room is empty, he stays behind with Macfield. He asks if the reports were true. Macfield confirms. The kid's core is toast. Langham starts tapping the table. He's not sad, he's calculating. Loin was supposed to be the sacrificial lamb for their plans. They were supposed to use him to destroy the Poison Magic Clan. But Christian winning messed up the timing. One singular fish is disrupting the flow of the river. Langham has had enough of this fish. He tells Macfield to bring Christian to the Darkness Hall tomorrow. I will announce Christian's coming disposal before the vassals. So Christian is standing in the middle of the hall, surrounded by people who would honestly prefer it if he just stopped existing. Langham starts things off with the classic villain monologue, "Do you know your sins?" Christian's like, "Yeah, I've got a list." His sin? He didn't beat his rivals into the ground hard enough. The sheer audacity makes a random branch noble nearly fall out of his chair. Langham isn't amused. He tells Christian he wasted a precious resource and failed to produce results. In this clan, if you don't hit at least 70% purity, you're basically a glorified intern. Fail the mark, and you're exiled. Succession? Gone. Benefits? Cancelled. Christian just tilts his head. And how exactly are you going to measure me? That's when Echid steps in with a smile that screams, I'm about to commit a felony. He suggests a dark energy clash. Basically, they bash their mana together and whoever has the lower purity gets their core turned into confetti. It's supposed to be a measurement, but in reality, it's a legal way to assassinate a rival's future. One bad clash, and you're a cripple for life. Christian sees right through it, but he's been looking for a reason to humble this guy anyway. He agrees. On one condition, if he wins, he gets to take the test for the young lord position. Echid laughs. He's so confident he's already planning the funeral. The room is losing it. A branch family kid aiming for the young lord's seat is unheard of. Echid walks down, acting all generous. He says he'll only use 2-star level power to match Christian. They both charge up. The air in the room starts to scream. Christian tells him not to worry about his core. Echid's eyes go dark. "Oh, I'm looking forward to this!" He lunges. The dark mana erupts like a tidal wave, and Christian just stands there. He doesn't fight back. He just redirects it. Echid realizes Christian isn't even using his own strength. He's just parrying a nuke. Now Echid is panicking. He decides to stop playing fair and goes full expert 2-star. Christian just lets out a sigh. What a disappointment. He's looking at his past life killer and realizing the guy is actually mid. Echid loses his mind. He ramps up to 4-star level energy. The witnesses start yelling. This isn't a test anymore, it's an execution. He summons a massive dark dragon that looks ready to swallow the whole room. The dragon roars, diving straight for Christian's chest, and it just vanishes. Christian is standing there perfectly fine, holding Echid's own words over his head. If you don't have sufficient control, you could hurt your core. Christian snaps his fingers, and all that redirected energy hits Echid like a freight train made of karma. Echid is coughing up enough blood to paint the rug. Christian is actually annoyed. He wanted to shatter the guy's core entirely, but he held back to keep his cover. Echid concedes. He has to. He says Christian's purity is at least 90%. The room goes dead silent. 90% purity? That's legendary tier. Christian turns to the judges. "So, I have a right to the test now, yeah?" Langham looks like he just swallowed a lemon, but the law is the law. Langham taps the table. He's trapped. He has to let Christian take the test, but he's a professional hater, so he decides to pick a random test that is literally impossible. 2 stages. Prove your talent, then achieve a feat. The talent test. Reach 3 stars in 3 months. Christian's like, "Is that it? I'm a genius. This is light work." Langham just smirks. He thinks he's already won. Later that night, Langham is chewing out Echid for fumbling the bag. Echid is in full cope mode. I underestimated him. But Langham explains the trap. There's a reason people stop at 70% purity. High purity darkness is heavy. It's exponentially harder to rank up because the mana is so dense. At 90%, reaching 3 stars should take years, not months. They think Christian just soft-locked his own progression. Meanwhile, Christian is finally back at his place. Marie is waiting for him with enough food for a small army and enough simping to fill an ocean. She's talking about how every second without him felt like an eternity. Christian just looks at her. He remembers his old life, his heroes party. He was their support, their shield, their everything. But they actually cared for him. They weren't just using him. And looking at Marie, he realizes he's found that warmth again. He looks her in the eye and says, "Thank you." Marie is absolutely short-circuiting. Her brain is melting from the affection. Christian immediately pulls back. "I mean, you don't actually have a heart, but thanks." "That's because you stole it, master." To reward her, he offers her a walk in the garden. She's so happy she's practically glowing. They spend a moment just existing in the peace. But the clock is ticking. 3 stars. 3 months. Even Christian knows he can't do this with just branch family tutors. "I see you're still causing problems." Aunt Marion is standing there, probably having watched the whole walk like a proud cat. Christian tries to act cute to get her to teach him. She says no. Immediately. But she did find someone. She leads him through the mansion, warning him that this teacher is unique. None of her siblings could handle his lessons. She tells him this is his only shot, so don't fumble it. They walk out into the light and find Christian's like, Auntie? I think that kid is lost. It's a tiny boy with white hair who looks like he should be in a daycare, not a training ground. He even goes for the head pat. "Hey kiddo, where are your parents?" The kid does not like that. The air gets heavy enough to crush bone, and Christian realizes he just disrespected a tactical nuke. Marion drops the bomb. This isn't a child. It's the clan head's incarnation. Christian's brain does a quick reboot. He immediately pivots to a formal greeting, trying to act like he didn't just treat the most powerful man in the clan like a toddler. The clan head's eyes are like scanners. He realizes Christian didn't just hit 90% purity, he's gone way past it. He calls Christian a fool. He explains that even he struggled with the walls of 80% purity. The higher the purity, the heavier the mana. It's like trying to run a marathon while carrying a literal mountain. He offers to help by purging some of Christian's darkness back into the ether. Basically, he wants to nerf our guy so he can actually rank up. Christian doesn't just say no. He asks a question. Why do you think our clan has become so weak? Marion looks like she's about to have a heart attack, but the clan head is listening. Christian points out the obvious. They are missing absolute stage individuals, people at 8 stars and above. He drops a name from the future, the Demon King of Carnage. In the timeline that's coming, the clan gets turned into a collection of slaves because they didn't have anyone strong enough to hold the line. He tells the old man that average strength isn't going to cut it anymore. He looks the clan head in the eye and asks if he's curious to see if a monster can actually leap over those walls instead of just walking around them. He wants to become a being of limitless power. No nerfs, no shortcuts. The clan head actually laughs. You rascal, you have a way with words. Then he snaps his fingers. A portal opens under Christian's feet. Zero warning, just straight into the abyss. Christian lands in the middle of a dense forest. A voice echoes through the trees. The first task to inherit the dark arts? Survive. 2 massive twin-headed bears step out of the shadows. We cut back to the mansion where Marion and the kid are watching this on a crystal ball. It's like they're settling in for a Twitch stream. Marion points out that throwing a 2-star kid into a 4-magic monster den is basically murder. The clan head just snaps his fingers again. A rock lizard spawns in. Because, apparently, 2 bears weren't spicy enough. Marion just sighs. Sorry, Christian. The head explains his philosophy. Understanding dark mana comes fastest when you're about 5 seconds away from meeting your ancestors. He hopes Christian doesn't get hurt too badly. Then he asks if Marion prepared them. She pulls out a box of high-end chocolates. The clan head goes full kid mode, unhinging his jaw for the sweets. Apparently, using dark energy gives him a massive sugar craving, so we have the most powerful fiend in the world sitting in a comfy chair, eating candy, and watching our MC fight for his life. Let's watch my grandson's training play out. Back in the forest, things are looking grim. Christian is boxed in. The lizard spitfires a beam of poison, he barely dodges it. The acid melts the tree behind him instantly. Christian looks up at the sky. He knows they're watching. The head is just chewing his chocolate, unimpressed. Christian realizes there's no intended answer to this fight. The old man just wants to see him get pummeled until he finds his own way out. Fine. Something like this? Will be a piece of cake! The bear lunges. Christian blurs. He's dodging with centimeters to spare. Back at the mansion, a new face joins the watch party. This is Nordian, the clan head's actual grandson. He's watching Christian's movements and notes they are completely different from any other student. Christian isn't just running, he's positioning. He takes down the first bear. He explains the logic to nobody in particular. High strength, high defense, but 0 agility. He waits for the bear to commit and pours dark mana straight into its heart. Marion's eyes go wide. That technique, don't tell me! Nordian identifies it. Dark Death Blow. It's the clan head's signature move. But Christian isn't done. He still has the lizard. The rock lizard charges, tearing up the ground. Christian slides underneath it. The poison spit comes again, but he's already moving. He notes that rock lizards have 3 stone hearts. If you don't stop all 3 at once, it just reboots. Time to try a different approach. He focuses his mana into threads. Nordian is leaning in now. Is that a modified version of Dark Death Blow? He asks Marion if she taught him that. She just shakes her head. Nordian laughs. At this rate, the kid might not even need lessons. The forest starts to dissolve. The task is over. Christian walks back into the courtyard smiling. Great lesson, clan head! The observers just stare at him like he's a bug in the simulation. The head tells him not to get arrogant. That was just the warm-up. He dismisses Marion and Nordian. Marion looks back one last time, clearly worried about what the real training looks like. The head asks him a simple question. What do you think dark mana is? Christian gives the standard answer, dominating your opponent. Then what is perfect darkness? Christian stays silent. He knows he's about to see something he didn't even learn in his past life. The head tells him to watch closely. The world turns upside down. Mana starts chanting in the air itself. Swallow the Lord shrouded in darkness! A vortex of black light gathers in the boy's hand. It solidifies into a jagged, pulsing blade. Before Christian can even blink, the blade passes through his neck. The impact splits the sky behind him. Christian grabs his throat, gasping. He's sure he's dead. But there's no blood. It's a conceptual blade. It only cuts what it intends to. The head tells him he has 1 month. He needs to refine that black sword on his own. The boy walks away, leaving Christian standing in the silence. Christian just looks at his hands. He wanted a monster tier challenge. 1 month. That is all our guy was given to achieve the impossible. Most mages spend this time meditating and drinking tea. Chris? Chris is out here doing push-ups in the dirt because he knows a max level mind is useless if the level 1 hardware keeps crashing. But the physical grind is just the warm-up. The real problem is the sword. The black sword isn't just mana shaped like steel, it is a conceptual nightmare. He's been at it for weeks, and the best he can manage is a purple spark that lasts 10 seconds. It is a toy compared to what the clan head showed him. He keeps replaying that incantation in his head, the 12 abysses. He knows there is a hidden logic there he is missing. 1 month later, the kid and Marion decide to check the oven. The head expects to find a frustrated teenager who has finally realized he isn't built different. Marion is stressed. She knows the successor test is only 2 months away. The head tells her to relax. You can't rush basic foundations, especially with Chris's high-purity darkness. They open the doors to the training courtyard and find Chris standing there looking like he just finished a light jog, except for the jagged, pulsing blade of pure void in his hand. "Family head, you're late. I hit 3-star a while ago." The blade isn't just a shell, it is alive. Chris explains that it took him a week to get the shape right, but then he realized the 12 abysses meant the sword needed to contain every attribute of mana. The head's internal dialogue is currently screaming. In 1 month, Chris did not just copy the move. He understood the fundamental theory that usually takes a lifetime to master. Most mages take a year to manifest the basic version. Chris just speedran the entire tutorial. The head actually smiles for a split second. Then, he immediately goes back to being a hater. The next lessons won't be this easy. Chris just waves him off. "I trust you, boss," he's feeling himself. First hurdle cleared. And in true Chris fashion, the first thing he does after a breakthrough is find the most expensive bottle of liquor in the house. He's having a main character moment in the hallway, trying to hide from his maid so he can drink in peace, when a voice stops him dead. Enter the blue-haired problem. Chris doesn't recognize her at first, he just sees a 3-star demon who isn't from his clan. "Do you know me?" The girl's face goes from 0 to resting murder face in record time. She is shaking. She doesn't answer. She just slaps him into the next chapter. Chris hits the floor, confused and suddenly much more sober. Her bodyguard steps in, telling her not to waste her time on trash. She walks away with a huff that could freeze a volcano. Chris asks a random servant who that was. That's Princess Marissa of the Venom clan. Chris's brain finally connects the dots. Wait, my fiancé? The Riz Lord of the Dark family has finally found a woman he cannot charm. To understand why Marissa wants his head on a pike, we have to go back to when they were 8. Marissa was the extra child of the Venom clan, the one born out of wedlock, the one everyone ignored at noble parties. She spent her childhood being whispered about, being treated like a backup plan. Until one day, a pair of expensive shoes appeared in her line of sight. It was Chris. He didn't care about the gossip. He told her to stop paying attention to what the adults were saying. He told her she would grow up and pay them all back. He practically coached her into becoming an ambitious menace. He told her that ambition was exactly how a dark mage should be. And then, the legendary move, he offered her his hand. "Please grant me the opportunity to show you around." At 8 years old, Marissa was sold. She decided right then that she would walk beside him forever. Fast forward to now. Chris turned into a legendary alcoholic trash noble. The engagement was for family politics, but for Marissa, it was real. And then she saw the pictures of him drinking in broad daylight, wasting his potential. She isn't just angry. She is heartbroken. She marches into Langham's office. Langham, of course, is at his desk looking like a guy who's about to offer you a predatory loan. Marissa doesn't waste time. A relic has appeared in a neutral zone between their houses. Langham asks if she's planning to yield it to them. She laughs. "Would you have yielded if the roles were reversed?" Langham suggests settling it fairly. A contest. 10 people per team. Rank 3-star or lower. This avoids a full-scale war while the Demon King's castle is already unstable. Langham accepts the terms immediately. 2 immediately. Marissa is suspicious. Langham adds a condition. If the Venom clan uses underhanded tactics, ambushes, traps, their literal specialty, they lose ownership of this relic and the one they found last time. Marissa agrees. She has confidence in her Myriad Poison Maiden title. She leaves, ready for the expedition. Langham sits back. He's not planning a fair fight. He walks over to his board. He views people as pieces to be discarded. He picks up a black piece. He knocks Marissa over. And then he mentions a name. Uvian. He doesn't want the relic. He wants a stage filled with screams. 2 months have passed. While Chris was busy overclocking his core and training, the rest of the world wasn't exactly sitting still. Some were mourning lost loves, others were counting their losses, and some were sharpening knives because they're blinded by jealousy. A few players have even started making moves for a future only Chris is supposed to know about, but for our guy, the clock just hit 0. It's time to show the judges his homework. He manifests the black sword, and Langham looks like he just saw a ghost. Chris is internally laughing at the man's face, but he follows his teacher's advice and only shows a basic version. No need to show the full conceptual nuke yet. Langham recovers his composure and drops the second test. He wants Chris to secure a relic that appeared in the neutral zone. Chris asks if he can just solo the mission, but Langham insists he joins a unit led by Princess Juvian. He claims this mission was originally for Royan, so Chris should be honored. Chris's eyes go sharp. He follows the orders, but the vibes are officially rancid. Echid is standing in the back, worried that Chris might actually pull this off. Langham just gives him that, "Don't worry, the game is rigged" look. Later, walking through the garden, Chris is feeling the pressure. He knows that in the original history, this mission didn't go well. Royan was supposed to be the heir, but Royan was never mentioned in the Great War. He's currently grooming a giant fox while trying to recall the lore dump. The Devil's Relic incident. It was a massacre. The Dark Mage House's entire force was wiped out. The Venom clan took heavy losses too, but both sides buried the truth. That incident was the seed of disaster. Why? Because a man named Nordione died, killed by Langham's own son. That death broke the balance and let the Demon King of Evil Blood steamroll the family. Christian realizes that since he replaced Royan, he's the one scheduled to die this time. It's not a test. It's a public execution disguised as an expedition. He needs evidence before he can counterattack, but he's only at 3-star mastery. Suddenly, Princess Juvian shows up to check her new subordinate. She calls him a scoundrel and asks where he's going. Chris hits her with the deadpan, "So you want me to just stand here and do nothing?" Juvian doesn't do banter. She attacks. She swings a blade that should have taken his head off, and Chris doesn't even blink. The air explodes behind him as her mana misses by a fraction of an inch. "I think we've exchanged enough greetings," he says, cool as a dry ice block. He tells her he won't see her again until the hunt starts. "Good luck with the supply prep, dude." Juvian is left standing there, genuinely shaken. He didn't avoid it. He didn't flinch. He knew exactly where the blade would land. Chris heads into the city for a little pre-game relaxation. He's back to his usual routine, drinking, gambling, and taking people's money like it's a side quest. He's living his best life, lazing around, but he's actually looking for a specific shop. He notices someone is tailing him. Marquise Langham's men. Professional haters. Suddenly, a hand covers his mouth. He's dragged into an alleyway. Shh. A cloaked girl with piercing green eyes is holding him. Her team already neutralized the guys following him. Chris is unimpressed. "Dragging me here isn't exactly reassuring." She mentions the Four Kings Dominion. She's part of a group trying to stop the chaos spreading through the safe zones. Chris decides to hear her out. They head deeper into the backstreets. She explains that demons are disappearing without a trace. The Dominion is a mess of three-way family conflicts. The high-level bosses don't care about the ordinary demons getting purged. Then she drops the pay-to-win information. Langham is colluding with a high-ranking member of the Venom clan. Their goal? Assassinate Princess Marissa. Chris's brain goes into overdrive. They want to kill him and his ex? If both core figures die, the balance breaks and the Dominion falls. She wants him to be prepared for the expedition. She even hopes he becomes the successor and stands for peace. Chris is skeptical. Her intel is way too good. "Why should I trust you? Put something on the line." She panics for a second, then Chris starts to walk away because he doesn't work for free. She stops him and hands him something heavy. Chris stares at it. She watches him leave, wondering why she can't just show him her true self. An internal voice, a literal demon shadow, tells her it's for his own sake. Her name is Idrin, and she's got that hidden heroine red hair. Chris walks back into the main street, grinning like he just found a cheat code. It's a VVIP card for the Dark Auction, a secret market for smuggled relics and rare creatures. Only the ultra-rich or noble can even get through the door. Chris remembers that in his past life, even the hero's party couldn't get one of these. The name on the card is Rhea de Wolfman. He still doesn't know who the girl really is, but he's going to use the card. Time to prep. He finds a carrier service and writes a quick message. He sends an owl off into the distance. That's one thing taken care of. Chris looks towards the city lights. Now then, time to pay that guy a visit. So Christian decides to go shopping, but because he's a trash noble, the guard at the Rudolph Guild treats him like a commoner who got lost on the way to the tutorial area. Christian doesn't argue. He just pulls out the VVIP card Idrin gave him. The guard's brain instantly reboots. Suddenly it's, "My apologies, Lord Whale. Please come in and spend all your money." This place is the definition of too much gold. Our guy is walking through the lobby with a mask on, acting like he owns the server. The receptionist checks the logs and asks if he's Lady Rhea de Wolfman. Christian is currently using a girl's ID. He just rolls with it. "Yes. Today, I am Rhea. Problem?" The employee knows that voice is about 3 octaves too deep for a lady, but the card says VVIP, so he decides he's not paid enough to care about gender reveal parties. Christian demands to see the branch manager, not the assistant to the manager, the boss. Right now. Cut to the VIP lounge. The staff is scrambling because when a VVIP shows up unannounced, someone is usually about to get fired. Christian kicks back and enjoys the view. Everything in this guild is top tier. The Rudolph Merchant Guild. In the Dark Empire, if they don't sell it, it basically doesn't exist. They are the Amazon Prime of the underworld. The door opens and the branch manager walks in. Meet Rubid. Stylish, glasses, looks like he's about to explain why your credit score is too low for this room. He asks what Christian needs. Christian doesn't even finish his tea. He just says, "Bring me Ruina." Rubid's poker face hits a brick wall. He tries to play it off. Ruina is the guild master of the Union's Deer Guild. Why would she be here in the Dark Empire? Christian gives him the look. She's standing right here. Rubid tries one last time. "Must be the relic's power messing with your head, kid." But the vibe in the room just changed. Christian isn't guessing. He's reading the source code. Rubid sighs. The mana around him ripples, and the illusion drops. The glasses stay, but the rest of the disguise melts away to reveal the real Ruina. How did you know? He knows because in his past life, this woman was basically his personal ATM. She was a nightmare to deal with back then, but Christian spent years learning every single one of her secrets just so he could bleed her dry later. He starts mocking her disguise, calls it sloppy. She's losing it. A high-ranking relic disguise being called trash by a teenager? Christian suggests maybe the relic didn't work because her face was too big to cover. She realizes he's not Rhea de Wolfmon either. She threatens to kick him out for using a stolen identity. "Go ahead," Christian says. "I'll just tell everyone there's a union rat running the black market. Let's see who gets canceled first." Checkmate. She asks what he actually wants. He wants the good stuff. High-purity mana stones, custom armor, the works. A few minutes later, Christian is walking out of the building with a bag full of loot. He's smiling like a man who just found a glitch in the game's economy. Ruina is screaming blackmail in the background, but Christian just whistles. "It's for the good of the world, be grateful." It's not enough to make him a god, but it's enough to mess up Langham's plans. Back at the training grounds, the knights are actually working hard for once. Then there's Christian, walking through the yard like he's just finished a 3-hour nap. The unit leader tells him to join the training. "We deploy in 48 hours. "No thanks," Christian says. "I'm exhausted from doing absolutely nothing." He waves them off. "You guys work hard. I'll be over here being useless." The red-haired knight is fuming, but Huvian tells him to let it go. If Christian wants to be a zero-stat extra, that's his problem. Christian just scratches his head. Being the trash of the family is actually a lot of work. Next morning, Christian is back at the guild for round 2. He's looking at a pile of herbs. Ruina is annoyed. "What are you doing with all this grass?" He asks for one more thing, a fan. It looks like an old, dusty relic. Ruina calls it inelegant. She just wants him gone so her secret stays safe. Christian leans in. "I'd stay alert if I were you, Ruina. War is coming." He explains the macro situation. The continent is a powder keg. If the Union and the Empire go to war, her trade routes get deleted. Her profits? Cut in half. She tries to dismiss it as a leap, but she knows the rumors. The Dominion is getting restless. The reports on her desk say the same thing. Internal conflicts, disappearing demons, families pushing for blood. "Why tell me this?" she asks. She thinks he wants her to stop the war. "I'm not that naive," Christian says. "I want you to be my sponsor." He's pitching her a long-term investment. If he becomes the heir, he becomes the wall that stops the war from destroying her business. "So, are you in?" She looks at his hand. She's a merchant. She's seen 1,000 liars. But this kid? His eyes are steady. She takes the deal. "Betray me once, and I'm done." Christian just smiles. "I don't speak with 2 tongues. Besides, he already has enough reasons to exploit her. She calls him a filthy money grub, and he just waves goodbye with a W in his pocket. Back in his private lab, the mood shifts. If the Venom clan is involved in the expedition trap, he needs a specific antidote. It's been a long time since he's done high-level alchemy. The pot starts bubbling. He remembers his master, a sickly woman named Ella, the 26th head of the noble house of medicine. She was a genius who was forced to become a soldier. He remembers her nagging him to fan the flames harder. They met on a battlefield covered in blood. She was just a girl when the Demon King wiped out her entire clan. The House of Medicine was too good at healing the Demon King's enemies, so he decided to erase them. Ella barely escaped, carrying the weight of a dead family. Christian fans the flames. He remembers how frail she looked, how she hid her pain behind a sharp tongue. She was shocked that a support extra like Christian could recreate her clan's secret elixirs just by watching. She hated how weak she had become. She was coughing up blood every day. "I can't just lie here," she'd say. "Too many people are suffering." She knew the House of Medicine was ending with her. She told him that clinging to the past was useless. She just wanted him to focus on what came next. She gave him a book, The Secret Arts of Her Clan. Only half of it survived the fire. She was literally dying as she handed it to him. She grabbed his arm with the last of her strength. Save those who suffer, in my place. If you do that, I can close my eyes. Christian looked at her for a long time. Master, he said. She smiled. I'm a terrible teacher, but you're a decent disciple. She's gone now, ash in the wind. Christian is the 27th head of the noble house of medicine. He roamed the battlefields of his past life keeping that promise. That's how he became the saint of the battlefield. He holds up the finished pill. Hey master, I'm still keeping that promise. The bird of fate is flying. A letter is delivered. To the main house. My lord, the young master has sent a letter. Thurn is hyped. He's been waiting for Christian's next move. He's proud that Christian obtained the dark core. Just like his father. He opens the letter, expecting a report. His face goes dead serious. He turns to his attendant. I need to make some preparations for my son. Welcome to the Biskin Mountains. Border gore at its finest. The mission is simple. Find the relic. Don't die. Naturally, Christian decides the best way to do this is to ditch his team immediately. He says he's more comfortable alone. Translation, I don't want you guys seeing me use cheat codes. He's not wrong though. If they move at a normal person's pace, the Venom clan is going to sweep the loot while they're still checking for traps. His squad leader tells him class 4 beasts are in the area and they won't save him. Christian's response? A total I wasn't asking vibe, but before he dips, he hands over a bottle of medicine. He claims it's an antidote for the Venom clan specialty. His team thinks he's bluffing. Christian just shrugs and downs one himself like it's a Flintstones vitamin. Enter the myriad poison maiden herself. Marissa shows up with the I'm here to ruin your day energy. Christian calls her a slowpoke. Bold strategy for a guy who was supposed to be a trash noble. She's not here for the banter. She wants to know why he's not cheating by scouting ahead. The tension is thick enough to cut with a rusted dagger. They drop the formalities. It's a literal face-off. Red eyes versus teal eyes. The exploration officially starts, and the no traps, no ambushes rule is basically a suggestion at this point. Christian takes off first, and Marissa is left there wondering how the drunk loser she used to know is suddenly moving like a high-tier assassin. The first thing our guy does? He ditches his communicator. He doesn't need a GPS. He roamed these lands for a lifetime in the previous timeline. He knows every spawn point and every shortcut. He's ignoring the low-level mobs because he's got a 5-star appointment to keep. But then he stops. He realizes Marissa actually warned him earlier. Was she worried? He shakes it off. No way. She's too cold for that. He focuses up. Langham's plan is already in motion. Step 1. Find the relic. Step 2. Don't get jumped by the person currently stalking you. Of course, it's Marissa. Awkward silence in the bushes. Christian tries the I took a wrong turn excuse. It works about as well as you'd expect. She tells him to be careful. The tsundere energy is off the charts. But Christian's brain is currently in analytic mode. He knows the lore. The original incident involves someone wanting Marissa dead. So, being the social genius he is, he decides to ask her the most sensitive question possible. What is it? She asks, probably expecting a compliment. You're an illegitimate daughter, right? Are you hated at home? Oof, zero riz. Marissa's face says it all. You really are the worst. Christian realizes he crossed a line. His own past life trauma slipped out. He tries to apologize properly, but he's already triggered the boss fight. She doesn't wait for the apology. She lights up a spell. This is Blue Bloom. Christian watches her reaction. She's not just mad, she's hurt. He realizes Marissa is in way more danger than she knows. She's walking into a slaughterhouse, and she thinks she's the butcher. Christian pivots. He points out she's breaking the rules by attacking him. He uses a nearby tree as evidence. You struck first, which means the Dark Clan gets the relic by default. He's literally gaslighting her mid-combat to keep her distracted. She's not having it. The disgraced engagement, the family insults, she's done talking. She calls it self-defense. She launches the Blue Bloom vials. Christian takes the hit. He's coughing, acting like his internal organs are currently being turned into a smoothie. Marissa stands over him. Blue veins are creeping up his neck. She demands he beg for his life. She moves in for the finish, and the mist clears. Christian's hand is perfectly steady. He pins her to the ground before she can even blink. I'm afraid I can't do that. The red eyes are back. Christian is officially done playing around. Marissa is losing it. She used her best poison, and this guy is just standing there looking bored. They don't call you the Little Venom Witch for nothing, he says, basically holding her in a dance pose. He mentions the poison usually hurts like hell until it's detoxed. She's confused. She's the only one with the antidote. Christian just flexes. I took inspiration from the Divine Healer clan and whipped something up myself. He calls it the Pantoxin. Marissa looks like she just found out her favorite game got a pay-to-win update. Before she can process the lore dump, Christian hits her with a quick sleeper tap. He catches her as she falls. Just rest for a bit. I'll definitely save you. It would be a romantic main character moment if it weren't for what happens next. He ties her to a tree. Safety first, I guess. He pulls out the communicator he swiped from her. Time to hack the system. He sends a fake message to the Venom Clan Knights. The enforcers get the ping. A message from Lady Marissa? The instructions are simple. Move to the opposite side of the mountains. Christian is literally clearing the map of enemies so he can loot in peace. Now, the real hunt begins. He's moving through the canopy like a ghost. The relic lore. Items imbued by demons or constellations. Usually, they fall from the heavens like cosmic bait. Everyone thinks it's the Twilight Amulet. Rena told him it was neglected for years because nobody could unlock its potential. But in the original timeline, Langham figured it out, and that led to a lot of dead bodies. Christian needs to stop that future. He spots movement in the brush. He drops down silently. The air is still. He checks a leaf. Fresh footprints. Footprints in a demon zone where nobody is supposed to live? He knows the score. Relics don't grow legs. Someone is already here. He uses his mana sight. 3 people. The Venom Clan direct air and 2 enforcers. He scans their power levels. One is a 4-star. The woman in front? Around 5 stars. That's a problem. But the third guy, his energy is murky. Not Venom Clan. The air is currently trash-talking Marissa. Wouldn't mind if she just dropped dead. Christian confirms the motive, a succession fight. The masked guy thinks this expedition is going to wipe out all the pests. They've already dug up the relic box. They don't even care what it is. It's Langham's problem once they're done. The air sends his enforcers to scout for Christian and Marissa. They vanish into the trees. Now it's just Christian and the dumbest-looking air left. Christian could take him 1v1, but he's a professional. Why fight when you can prank? He spots some monkeys in the trees. Oh, there is a way. The air is yawning, bored out of his mind. Literal monkey crap hits him right in the crown. He's losing his mind. What the? Literal crap? The monkeys go aggro. Christian is controlling them with his summoning stone. I'm not letting you off for this, he whispers, mocking the air. The air starts chasing the monkeys into the brush, totally baited. Christian drops down. The box is right there. Let's have a little fun, shall we? He pulls out the necklace Rowena gifted him. A grade 4 summoning stone, usually for beasts, but Christian has other plans. He channels his mana. He pulls out the secondhand relic box he spent the night tweaking. He made it look brand new, a perfect replica. What you'll be chasing is the fake. He swaps the boxes. Mission complete. He retreats back to cover and opens the real box to admire the prize. His eyes go wide. Huh? This isn't the Twilight Amulet? So Marissa finally wakes up. She's tied to a tree, her pride is in the gutter, and she's currently playing back her memories of Christian manhandling her like a highlight reel. She is absolutely fuming. Coward, she says, though being tied to a tree usually implies you lost a fair fight. She's doing the Chibi-Raj thing, wondering how the drunk loser of the Baron family pulled this off. She's genuinely hurt. She thinks Christian was just playing with her feelings. Then, she hears a rustle in the bushes. It's not Christian. It's Melon, the Shadow Clan's resident vice captain. Marissa has no idea who this is, but Melon looks like she just got out of a 1v9 lobby and she's looking for the 10th player. Meanwhile, the rest of the Shadow Clan unit is celebrating. They found the relic. Thurn is looking at the bottle Christian gave him. He's wondering why Christian was so insistent about the antidote. He's starting to realize that trusting the Trash Brother might be the smartest move he's ever made. The scouts report that the Venom Clan is still combing the far side of the mountain. The squad is worried about Christian being alone, but Thurn knows better. If Christian wants to be solo, it's because he doesn't want witnesses for the crime scene he's about to create. Princess! We found it! They present the fake box. It looks expensive, it looks shiny, and it is a total lie. They decide to regroup at Lankas Canyon. If you've ever played a JRPG, you know that entering a narrow canyon with a mission objective is a speedrun tactic for getting ambushed. Thurn senses something is off. He's thinking about Christian again. He's probably dead, right? No. Thurn orders 2 squads to stay back and look for Christian. Even if it's just a corpse, the main house needs proof. And then, the sky falls. A massive landslide seals the canyon. It's a literal trap. Rocks everywhere. No exit. And then the green smoke starts rolling in. Ambush! Stay alert! It's poison. But not just any poison. The villains show up on the cliffside like they just finished a dramatic posing class. They look down at the dying Shadow Knights and decide the tutorial is over. The plan is actually pretty clever. They're using blue flour. Marissa's signature poison. The goal isn't just to kill the knights, it's to start a war. If the Shadow Clan dies by venom poison, the frame-up is complete. The 5-star enforcer drops down. She moves like a blur. Thurn tries to react, but she's already in his face. The Shadow Knights are choking. They realize they've been sold out by the Venom Clan. Thurn is struggling to breathe. This is against the rules! The enforcer is shocked. You're still alive? Blue Flower is supposed to be an instant GG. Thurn looks at the antidote Christian gave him. Our guy really is the only one who read the patch notes. The enforcer decides to handle it manually. She calls them cowards, which is rich coming from the person using poison and landslides. Thurn realizes the power gap. This woman is at least a 5-star demon. She lunges for the kill. Thurn parries, but it's like trying to stop a train with a toothpick. The impact sends him flying. He's down. The unit is cooked. And then Marissa and Melon arrive. The villains are confused. Marissa was supposed to be being lured away by a mole. Turns out Christian's tie a girl to a tree method is surprisingly effective at keeping her out of trouble. Melon is ready to throw hands. Marissa is even more pissed. You dared to use my poison to frame me? The enforcer just sneers. Still don't know your place, princess? She readies her claws. She's a 5-star. Marissa and Melon are 3 stars on a good day. The math is not in their favor. Thurn thinks they're about to die like dogs. Fancy seeing you all here. Everyone looks up. The main character has joined the server. Christian is sitting on the cliffside looking like he's watching a mid-tier movie. The enforcer calls him a weakling. She clearly hasn't seen the previous 38 chapters. Marissa admits they're outmatched. 5-star mages aren't just stronger, they're different. It's like shedding skin. They operate on a level that regular knights can't even see. Christian just yawns. Getting cocky over a star rank? You'd think she was an 8-star or something? He pulls out his ruffly collar. Hey, catch, this is for everyone. He starts chucking loot into the pit. He's handing out relics that boost their power by a full level. Marissa gets a golden frog. She's confused, she's disgusted, but the mana coming off it is insane. Thurn is suddenly overflowing with energy. He feels like he just jumped to 6 stars. Melon puts on the jeweled necklace. Christian sent her a message earlier. He knew exactly what she needed for this fight. Where'd you find this stuff? Let's just say I've got a sucker wrapped around my finger. Then, Christian does the most Christian thing ever. He waves goodbye and dips. He's not even going to fight. Marissa is screaming, but Thurn just smiles. He gets the plan. Marissa is weirded out by Thurn's dreamy look. Thurn is basically a Christian fanboy at this point. The enforcer thinks the toys won't save them. She unleashes Black Steel Chi, the 5-star special. Melon steps forward. She remembers what Christian told her. Star ranks don't decide the outcome. The arrogant get shattered by their own arrogance. She's smiling. Shall we, princesses? They charge. The frog on Marissa's head is doing something. They're actually holding their own against a 5-star. The enforcer is mauling. She goes for a high-speed strike. Melon parries it like it's nothing. The impact craters the ground. The enforcer tries to use her speed, but Melon is right there. Steel meets steel. The 5-star is genuinely struggling. She manages to nick Melon's arm. She laughs. Nothing but a bug. But Melon doesn't flinch. She took the hit on purpose. That hit felt like a tickle. The enforcer goes for a final blow. Now! Melon's blood hits the necklace. A massive wave of curse energy explodes. The enforcer is paralyzed. Why am I affected by a 4-star curse? This relic doesn't boost strength, Melon explains. It amplifies curse power using my blood. She's standing over the 5-star like she's about to take out the trash. One final swing. The enforcer's mask shatters. She's down. Dead. Deleted. The rest of the assassins are panicking. Thurn is already behind the next one. Eyes on me. Our fight's not over yet. Meanwhile, in the woods, Christian is playing hide and seek. He's looking for the person who skipped the cliffside entrance. He finds him. The masked heir. So Christian is standing over the mask guy, calling out his murky mana core like he's a bad internet connection. He asks why someone who isn't from the Venom clan is doing their dirty work. The mask guy stays silent, so Christian decides to start the vibe check. He flicks a rock with enough mana to shatter a skull. Fast. The air dodges, moves like a ghost, but the rock was just the appetizer. Christian starts reading his input lag. He points out that Echid lifts his shoulder when he's tense, a total rookie habit. Then he drops the name. Brother Echid. The mask shatters. Surprise. It's the brother who thought he was the main character of this arc. Medium. We see Marquise Langham giving the order. The goal was a total wipeout. No survivors, no witnesses. But the plan is falling apart because Jupian's unit is still standing. Echid realizes that if he kills Christian now, it looks like a murder instead of a tragic accident. If the family starts digging, the Marquise is cooked. Christian is just grinning, asking if Big Brother is scared. Echid decides to screw the optics. He's going for the kill. He unleashes his demonic energy. It's thick, it's edgy, it's very typical mid-boss energy. Christian loves it. That's more like it. Echid lunges with a vertical slash. Christian backflips like he's in an Olympic montage. He counters with a horizontal wave of purple mana. Echid vanishes. Suddenly, Christian is surrounded. Demonic clones. Echid actually has some skills. This isn't just luck. Fast Christian parries 3 clones at once. Spark, clashing steel, more sparks. Echid goes for a sneak attack from the blind spot. Christian calls it out before it lands. "I knew you'd try this!" He spins, a blur of blue and purple, but he hits air. The Echid he just parried was an illusion too. The real one is coming down from above like a Final Fantasy Dragoon. The impact craters the entire forest floor. Smoke everywhere. Echid walks out of the dust, calling Christian a worthless bug. Then he notices something. His sword didn't draw blood. Christian is standing behind him, holding a hilt with no physical blade. Surprise! This is the true black sword. It's not a weapon of steel, it's a weapon of pure concept. Christian swings, and the world itself seems to glitch. It ignores Echid's armor, his mana, and his pride. It cuts the source. Echid hits the dirt, smoking like a burnt-out GPU. He can't understand it. How did a branch family brat humiliate him? He remembers Christian as the kid who just smiled and took the bullying. Christian offers him a deal. He'll keep the secret if Echid just accepts defeat. He plays on Echid's fear of the Marquise. Echid realizes Christian knows the whole script. He decides to play along for now. He takes Christian's hand. He's smiling, thinking he's found a way out. Christian asks if that's really what Echid thought he'd say. Instead of a handshake, it's a mana nuke. Christian unloads a point-blank blast of demonic energy directly into Echid's chest. Echid is literally coughing up the plot. It's a fake, you idiot. Christian doesn't do mercy. He just does results. Christian is running back to the unit, worrying if his team managed to survive without their tactical carry. He finds them, and the vibe is intense. Jupian is glaring at him with "I'm going to duel you into the ground" eyes. She reports mission complete. The assassins turn to ash to hide the evidence. Typical villain stuff. Marissa is looking at the golden frog relic, probably wondering why she's suddenly feeling feelings. She asks where Christian was. He pulls the "I was just scouting, I'm a frail noble" card. Marissa notices his injuries. She's starting to connect the dots. Christian just wants to go home and sleep for a month. He figures Echid's subordinates will pick up their burnt-out boss soon enough. He knows keeping Echid alive is a gamble. But he's got enough evidence to keep the Marquise on a leash. 1 week later. Christian is back at his estate, and the political fallout has been handled with mutual agreements. Everyone is pretending they didn't try to kill each other for the sake of the economy. The Marquise didn't get his relic, and the Venom clan is paying hush money. Melon is back in the shadows, and Marissa is officially in a complicated relationship with her own clan. Marie is currently trying to force-feed Christian like a baby. He points out she doesn't have a heart to break. She starts vibrating on purpose to simulate a heartbeat. It's creepy, it's weird, and Christian is 100% over it. "Say ah!" He tries to eat alone, but Marie isn't just a maid. She's a ghost with too much free time. She shoves the spoon in. You need a balanced diet to stay strong at night. She didn't even make the soup. She's just a professional pest. Then we see Jupian is still in the room. She's been watching this domestic comedy for an hour. Christian tells her she's going to give him indigestion. Marie is fuming. She thinks Jupian is flirting with the young master. She offers Jupian blood juice. Jupian, being the literal Chad she is, asks for scallion juice instead. Marie has no idea how to counter that. Score 1 for the muscle brain. Jupian gets serious. She tells Christian she hates him and will crush him one day, but then she whispers a thanks. Christian is genuinely shocked. He tries to make her say it louder to embarrass her. She tells him not to get the wrong idea. Typical side character behavior. She tells him the Marquise has promised to name him a noble son. Everything changes once he's an official heir. He won't be a trash noble anymore. He'll be a target. Christian knows the score. Up until now, he was too pathetic to even trample. But now, the real sharks are coming out. First, Princess Yulian, Prince Misak, Prince Sarad. Jupian asks what he's looking at. Am I that pretty? The 4D wall between them is unbridgeable. Jupian leaves before her brain melts. Marie waves her off like she's winning a war. Christian finally gets a second of peace. He's planning his next move, making sure his core recovery stays on schedule. Then the door opens again. Marissa? The Venom Princess has ditched the battle gear for a dress. So, we're back at the table. Marissa walks in looking like she's about to ask for her favorite hoodie back, and Christian gives her the most "I am currently eating, please go away" face in recorded history. He's genuinely wondering if she's here to complain about being tied up during the last arc, but nope, the vibe is serious. Her dad wants a meeting. Du Quam, an 8-star demon lord. In this world, that's basically a walking natural disaster with a title. As they walk, Marissa finally asks the question, how did he know about the ambush? Christian hits her with the "I have an informant" line. Standard MC behavior. Never reveal the meta-knowledge. Flashback to the canyon. Melon, the vice captain, explains the plan. Marissa realizes Christian didn't just save himself, he specifically structured the entire counterplay to protect her and her team. She's putting the pieces together. If he knew the Poison Clan was the culprit, why protect the Poison Clan's heir? The answer is simple: politics. But she's taking it personally. She realizes he never once suspected her of being in on the betrayal, and just like that, the IOU flag is officially planted. She thanks him for saving the expedition team, and our guy Christian, who has the emotional intelligence of a brick, says she's important to him. Boom. Critical hit. Marissa's brain has officially exited the chat. She starts stuttering about how they're already over and he can't just say things like that, and Christian immediately fumbles the bag. Hey, we should be political allies. He's not even trying to get back together. He's literally saying, don't worry, we're total strangers, I just want your family's voting power. The romantic tension didn't just die, it was executed by firing squad. Marissa goes from blushing to, I'm going to kill you in about 3 seconds. She accepts the proposal. For the benefit of both families. She's fuming. Christian is confused. Standard Tuesday. Then, they reach the door. Meet Du Quam. He looks remarkably chill for a guy who could erase a city, and he is a top-tier doting dad. He's begging Marissa to call him Dad instead of Lord Patriarch. He even pre-ordered her favorite venison dish. Christian is watching this like, wait, this is the legendary poison master? But don't let the best dad mug fool you. The moment Marissa leaves the room, the atmosphere shifts. Huam tells Christian that while he's grateful his daughter is safe, he also kind of wants to rip Christian's limbs off for how he treated her in the past. Then comes the real question. What's his connection to the medical clan? Huam monitors the black market. He knows the medical clan hasn't put anything on the auction block recently, so where did Christian get a high-tier antidote? Christian looks him dead in the eye and says, I made it, because I'm a genius. Huam isn't buying it. You need a PhD in poison to make an antidote. I read some books. It's the ultimate trust me bro defense, and since it's not a crime to be smart, Huam can't really push it. Instead, he offers Christian a job. Join the Poison Clan. Meanwhile, Marchioness Frisia is absolutely losing her mind. She's found out that Prince Echid's mana core shattered. She storms into the Marquise's office looking for blood. She's disgusted. If Christian becomes the heir, the family honor is cooked. She wants to know if Langham is just going to let this happen. Langham is cold. He tells her that she and Echid already failed. Frisia decides she's going to handle it herself. Langham shrugs. Do as you wish. He's not protecting her. He's just letting the next person throw themselves into the Christian-shaped wood chipper. Investiture day. The big level up. Marie is doing laps around the room because her man looks good in a suit. Christian is just trying to survive the morning. His father shows up, looking like a proud parent who just found out his C student's son got a scholarship. He looks impressive. The drip is undeniable. Then Thurn shows up and calls him King God Hyung. This man has been browsing too much Reddit. Christian tells him to stop before he bites his tongue. Marissa arrives. The dad Christian asks if he apologized to her yet. I think so? The dad tells him to try again. Where else will you find a girl like that? Then he literally muzzles his own son to stop him from saying anything stupid. The dad is the ultimate wingman. Marissa walks up to Christian. She's formal. She congratulates him on becoming a prince. She mentions they'll be seeing each other a lot more now. Christian remembers the conversation with her dad. Oh, by the way, your dad told me to marry you. Don't worry, I refused. Another masterclass in how to not talk to women. Marissa looks like she's about to explode. Ceremony starts. The hall is packed. High-ranking nobles from every clan are there to see if the rumors about the trash noble are true. Marion is there, watching like a proud aunt. Even the side characters are forced to admit he's achieved great merit. Then, the room goes silent. Something is wrong. Frisia looks like she just saw a ghost. The clan head, the actual final boss of the Khazar family. The man didn't even show up for the other princes, but he's here for Christian. The message is clear. Christian is the one. Langham is sweating through his expensive suit. The old man sits down and tells them all to ignore him and proceed. But you can't ignore a nuclear bomb sitting in the front row. Langham has no choice. He has to facilitate the ceremony for the kid he's been trying to kill for months. He offers the seat. The tension in this room is high enough to power a small country. The old man waves his hand. Begin. Christian von Baron Khazar. He walks down the red carpet. Kneels. All eyes are on him. Langham makes it official. Prince of the Dark Mage family. The crowd goes wild. Christian knows this isn't the finish line. The age of destruction is getting closer. He needs more power. He needs to hit Grand Prince. Suddenly, the ceiling isn't the ceiling anymore. A dragon. A literal demonic dragon crashes through the barrier, in the middle of the capital, during the most high-security event of the year. It's targeting the stage. The knights scramble. Protect the prince! The impact rips through the formation. Christian's dad is shouting for him. The dragon is a mess of necrotic energy and bone. It's ignoring the guards. It wants Christian. The barrier is failing. The old man doesn't even stand up. He just smiles and says the necromancer family has sent quite an interesting gift. We're right back in the chaos. The Death Dragon is currently turning the ceremony into a disaster movie, and Christian's dad is looking at the stage like his heart is about to give out. Aunt Marion steps up to handle it, but the grandfather stops her with a single look. She's confused. This isn't just a dragon, it's a high-level necrotic construct sent specifically to delete Christian. Grandfather doesn't care. In his mind, if Christian can't handle a small assassination attempt on his first day as prince, then he's just taking up space. He orders everyone to step back. He wants to see the abilities of the princes and princesses. His logic is simple. If you carry the Khazar name, you should be able to slaughter a dragon before lunch. And while everyone else is sweating, one person is already moving. Princess Jupian launches herself at the beast. Princess Yulian watches from the sidelines, calling her hot-blooded and reckless with a smile that's way too calm for someone about to be eaten. The younger brother Misak is currently vibrating with fear. Marchioness Frisia whispers in his ear, the dragon is targeting Christian, so he just needs to pretend to fight to look good for Grandpa. Jupian hits the dragon with a splitting sword technique, tearing through the air with purple mana, but the necrotic flesh just knits itself back together. Standard boss fight mechanics. Physical damage isn't going to cut it. The dragon swipes back, forcing the knights to retreat. Christian sees the mark on the dragon's neck. The necromancer family's secret art, a forbidden technique from the Great War that turns high-tier corpses into tireless puppets. He's wondering why they're making a move now, but he doesn't have time to theorycraft because the dragon is currently trying to bite his head off. He dodges the initial impact, slides under the claws, and realizes the air pressure alone from the dragon's wings is enough to crush a normal mage. He's frustrated. Even Jupian's sword aura isn't working. He could use his secret light power to vaporize the undead, but he can't do that in a room full of dark mages unless he wants to be the next target. The dragon charges up a breath attack. Christian prepares to tank it when a pair of high heels clicks on the marble. Yulian steps in front of him, telling him he's still a bit lacking. She offers to help and pulls out a demonic bow made of pure shadow. Christian's red eyes go wide. The demonic energy she's condensing into that single arrow, it isn't a 4-star level. She fires. The beam of light deletes the dragon's entire upper torso. Christian is standing there, literally in her shadow, realizing he's been spawn camping the wrong siblings. Echid was a tutorial boss. Yulian is the secret raid boss. He remembers Aunt Marion's warnings. The crowd is gasping. The sheer density of her mana is suffocating. They're all cheering for Lady Yulian, the hero of the ceremony. Christian is the only one who noticed. The moment she drew that bowstring, even Jupian, the combat expert, didn't realize how much power was actually being used. She's hiding her true stats. She turns back to him with a look that says, "Congratulations on becoming a prince," but her eyes say, "Don't get too comfortable." The dragon's corpse is still smoking in the middle of the carpet. The guests are already whispering about Christian being a pitiful target for the other great families. They see him as a dead man walking. But then, a heavy pair of boots hits the floor. Melon steps forward, her eyes glowing with that "I'm about to do something legendary" energy. She drops to one knee. publicly pledges her loyalty to Prince Christian. The room goes silent. Melon is the mad dog of the knights. She's never bowed to any prince, not even the ones with higher rankings. Christian didn't expect her to move this fast, but he's not complaining. A 5-star knight joining his faction on day 1? Massive W. She whispers that she's expecting that proper fight he promised. Christian just smirks. You won't regret it. Then someone else approaches. Christian is like, okay, who now? Meet Kason Tiraman, the eldest son of the Tiraman Count family. He's super chill. Says his father sent a congratulatory gift, and he has one tiny request. He literally drags his younger brother Alos forward by the collar. Christian recognizes Alos. He asks if Choco is doing well, Alos's spirit bear. Kason tells Alos that Christian is his new master. His reasoning is that Alos has no dark star power, so he needs to learn from a genius. Alos is having a mental breakdown. Christian realizes what's happening. The Tiramans are smart. They know the Khazar family is going through a power shift, and they're betting everything on Christian. Christian feels a rare moment of guilt. Alos was a legend in the original timeline, but in this life, Christian stole the bone compression technique that made Alos strong. He's basically ruined this kid's potential. So, he accepts. From now on, serve me. Alos looks like he just got a life sentence. Suddenly, it's a trend. Other families start rushing forward to offer small gifts. The tide has completely turned. The crowd is chanting, "Long live Prince Christian!" Misak and Frisia are in the corner looking like they just swallowed lemons. Frisia promises she'll clear him away soon. Typical villain talk. Grandfather and Marion are walking away from the ceremony through the forest. Grandfather admits the necromancers gave Christian a grand greeting in his place. Marion tries to talk about Yulian, about how she's clearly way above 4-star level. Grandfather shuts her down. I'm not interested in rules made by cowards. He sees Yulian's ambition. He says if her ambition makes the Khazar family the strongest, he'll make her the head. Marion is worried. But the old man just smiles. If someone surpasses her, that would be even better. He's basically running a battle royale, and Christian just entered the arena. Far away, in a desolate snowy wasteland, crows are circling. The floor is covered in the corpses of elite warriors. A group of masked subordinates is complaining that killing the Golden Cross Knights is too bothersome. They ask their young master what he's doing. Meet the silver-haired lunatic in the red beret. He's heard a rumor about an interesting younger sibling in the Baron family. One of his men laughs, calling the dark mages idiots. The Silver Prince moves. The subordinate's chest just opens. The others are terrified. What did I do? The silver-haired guy is just staring at him, completely emotionless. He says they aren't allies anymore. He reaches out his hand and literally drains the blood and mana from his own soldier. He looks refreshed, like he just had a coffee. This is boring. He decides it's time to go home. He wants to see this interesting younger sibling for himself. 1 week since the level up. Christian is currently reading a progress report from his brother Thurn, who is basically treating his training like a 24-hour gym stream. Thurn is obsessed with getting a rematch, and Christian is all for it. He's not just being a nice brother, he's building a hidden card for the endgame. He's looking at the letter with that all according to plan smirk when Jupian walks in. She's curious about his secret training, but Christian hits her with the not interested vibe immediately. They start bantering about the dragon fight. Christian calls her out for not even scratching a servant, let alone the beast. Standard sibling energy. Then he drops a casual tip. Try separating the illusion from the self. It's a high-level concept that most mages spend years failing to grasp. Jupian is stunned. He claims he studied it for about 3 months. In reality, he probably learned it during a loading screen in his past life. Jupian calls him arrogant, but we see a flashback of Christian learning from a 9-star archmage. Then, the lobby gets toxic. Misak enters the chat, calling Christian a branch family insect. Christian doesn't even look at him. He just tells Misak he stinks, specifically that his mouth smells like a sewer. Misak is losing his mind. He's a direct descendant, and here's Christian treating him like an NPC with bad hygiene. Christian keeps doubling down. Worse than an insect, you stink and have no manners. Misak is ready to throw hands. He charges up some demonic energy, thinking he's the main character. Christian sees right through it. It's high-level destructive energy, but the pilot is a low-tier trash. He offers Misak a clash of demonic energy right there in the hallway. Misak reaches out, ready to expose. Christian's eyes go sharp. Got you. But the fight is interrupted by a bigger boss. Marchioness Frisia. She tells Misak to stop being reckless and save it for a proper duel. Misak folds instantly. Then she turns to Christian. We need to talk. My office. Now. Christian knows the drill, a bigger fish has been caught. The office is peak villain lair aesthetic. Frisia is the red snowflower. High-ranking, dangerous, and basically runs the house. She wants Misak to be the successor no matter what. And since the first prince, Echid, is out of the picture, she views Christian as the first sacrifice. She starts with the fake pleasantries. You've grown well. Then comes the dagger. As a younger brother, get along with Misak. Translation, stay in your lane and serve my son. Christian asks why he should serve someone unworthy. He tells her that Misak should kneel to him so that when Christian becomes head, he might let the kid live. Frisia snaps. The room literally explodes with demonic pressure. Christian is bleeding from the nose. The pressure is insane. Internally, he's perfectly calm. She could kill me, but she can't. Politics are his shield. Killing a newly appointed prince would cause a civil war she's not ready for. She pulls back the energy and mentions that Misak wants a spar. As a prince, you'll accept, right? Christian wipes the blood and smiles. Of course, she's dismissed him, but she has one more trap. She's assigning him instructors to help him prepare. Christian thanks her and leaves. The door shuts, and the mask slips for a second. Not a single thing goes beyond my expectations. The comfortable life is over. The sabotage arc starts tomorrow. The next morning, Christian's new residence is a dusty, spider-infested dump. The servants are apologizing, but they're just following Frisia's orders. Christian actually likes it. It's a perfect hideout away from prying eyes. He tells Marie to clean. Marie doesn't lift a finger. She just calls out, and a squad of lower-ranked ghost maids appears. The servant is currently having a heart attack, but Marie is just like, clean it until there's no dust. The ghost army begins, buckets flying, brooms moving on their own. The whole mansion is spotless in about 5 minutes. The servant is wondering when he can get some human help. Now, about those instructors. Usually, a prince gets full support. High-tier masters, rare books, the works. Christian's first guy is a swordsman who is literally napping on a bench. He's teaching Christian techniques that don't even exist. The second guy is a curse mage who can't even draw a circle on a chalkboard. Try studying how to destroy something. Day 3. The third instructor walks in. Sabachan. She's in charge of illusion magic. Flashback to Frisia cutting a rose. She tells Sabachan that as repayment for raising Misak, she must not assist Christian. It's a direct threat. Sabachan has no choice. She has to follow orders. Back in the office, she's sweating. She finishes a lesson that was 90% nonsense. Christian thanks her for the valuable teaching. She's feeling guilty. Christian smiles, he understands her situation. He tells her that even if she shortened the explanation, she taught the proper principles. Then he shows her what he means. He manifests an illusion spirit. It's a 5-star spell that takes years to master. He just did it after hearing a fake lecture once. Sabat-chan is completely floored. She realizes Frisia made a massive mistake. Christian isn't a 3-star brat. He's a monster. She can't help herself. She accidentally loses control of her power, showing him the true form of 5-star illusion magic. Christian watches the butterflies. Thank you for the teaching. Nordian is currently bored, lounging on his throne. Marion is there, but he's just complaining about how Christian hasn't visited. He thinks Christian is arrogant for thinking he can beat Misak without help. A servant enters with a gift. Chocolates. Handmade by Christian. From your grandson, Nordian scoffs, trying to gain favor instead of training. He pops one in his mouth, his eyes go wide. Illusion magic? Suddenly, he's not in the palace. He's in a memory. A war. His youth. The battlefield smells like blood and ozone. He sees himself at his peak, leading the family to victory. The crowd is chanting his name. Long live Nordian! The chocolate didn't just taste good, it gave the most powerful man in the world something he hasn't felt in 100 years. The banners are flying, the crowd is hyped, and the Khazar family is ready for some blood. Marion is currently apologizing to Nordian for the bold gift Christian sent. She thinks he's pissed. She's ready to send it back. Instead, the old man is grinning like he just found a legendary item in a loot box. The illusion in the chocolate showed him the prosperity of the family, the one thing he actually cares about. He realizes Christian didn't just make a tasty snack, he used a vitalizing pill from the medical sage family, a pill so rare that the family's top alchemist couldn't even find the ingredients for it. Then he reads the letter Christian attached. It's basically a formal apology that says, sorry if the gift was mid, it's just a secret technique I'm working on. I'm training hard to meet your expectations. Nordian starts laughing, loudly. He's officially entertained. The trash noble just bought the most powerful man in the room. He decides that as a grandfather, he needs to return the favor, and his version of a favor is personally watching the upcoming duel. This is a massive political shift. The former head hasn't shown up for a family event in decades. Flash to the villains. Frisia hears the news and her face does that thing where a vein pops. She's wondering why the old man is suddenly acting like a doting grandpa. The Marquise is sweating too. Even the Necromancer family is keeping tabs on this fight now. The stakes just went from family squabble to national interest. Frisia is currently planning Christian's funeral in her head. She wants to crush him so hard that the grandfather realizes his interest was a mistake. She's visualizing tearing him apart. We get it. You're the villain. Sunset at the training hall. Christian is leaning against a railing, looking like he's tired of the tutorial levels. The trash lessons Frisia assigned him are just wasting his time. He's thinking about the Death Dragon. The necromancers are officially in the lobby. He knows he can't bridge the power gap with just levels right now. He needs a weapon. The true black sword. Problem is, maintaining it for even 1 minute burns through his mana like a high-end PC burns through electricity. He needs to master it the way Nordian did. Then, our favorite vampire-looking Lord Kaysen drops by to be annoying. He's mocking Christian's solo training and acting like the frivolity is his primary personality trait. Christian isn't in the mood for the banter. Kaysen confirms the grandfather loved the gift, which means the grandfather's shield is active for the duel. He offers to teach Christian bloodline magic, which is a huge deal, but Christian just hits him with the "I'm fine, thanks." Kaysen warns him that a guest might visit him soon. He vanishes in a cloud of bats and blood energy, telling Christian to put on a good show. What was that guy even talking about? A blue flame flickers in the dark. Mari is back from her scouting mission. Christian asked her to dig into Princess Yulian. On paper, Yulian is perfectly normal. Youngest daughter, raised well, no drama. But Christian saw that demonic energy during the dragon fight. That wasn't 4-star power. He's convinced there's a secret contract or a possession happening. Then, Mari drops the lore bomb. 5 years ago, Yulian caught a fever and her entire personality flipped. She went from cruel and arrogant to warm-hearted and kind. Christian is suspicious. Mari mentions she got this info by interrogating the ghosts in the main house. Christian is wondering how she's close with the main house ghosts. They were talking trash about you, Master, so I dealt with them. Christian realizes his maid is basically the mob boss of the afterlife. If she has the main house ghosts under her thumb, she's effectively the Banshee Queen of the entire Khazar estate. Ghosts get stronger based on their grudges. He looks at her and wonders just how bad her past was for her to be this powerful. Mari catches him staring and does the "What are you thinking, Master" face. Christian plays it off. Nothing. Good work. She bows. Anything for you. 30 days on the clock. Duel day. The arena is packed. Christian notes that Nordian's presence has everyone acting like they're in church. The grandfather figured out exactly what Christian wanted, a massive audience for a massive humbling. Mysak is already talking trash. Christian hits him with the ultimate, "Shut up, mama's boy." Mysak snaps. All duels in this family are to the death. He launches Destruction Dark Magic, Compressed Explosion. He's screaming about killing Christian while charging up a fireball. He fires. A massive pillar of flame engulfs the stage. Christian isn't even moving. Wait, he is. He's just parrying the explosions with a single hand. He realizes Mysak's magic is basically elemental magic with a curse filter over it. Mysak isn't done. He summons burning stakes. Chains of fire wrap around Christian, pinning him in place. Mysak prepares a shadow spear. "I'll make you regret being alive." The spear goes through Christian's chest. He screams. Mysak is laughing like a maniac. "This is the end!" "Christian, you having fun?" "Wait, what?" The Christian that got stabbed dissolves into blue smoke. The real Christian is right behind him, punching him so hard his ancestors felt it. "How can a 4-star fall for illusion magic I only spent a day learning?" He starts a combo. Punch to the face. Kick to the ribs. He's explaining Mysak's skill issue in real time. Mysak is a glass cannon. All destruction, 0 range management, 0 close quarters defense. He's been pampered by trash teachers his whole life. Christian is just dismantling him like a piece of IKEA furniture. Your mom is probably crying watching this. Get your act together. Mysak is on the ground, spitting blood. He reaches into his belt. He pulls out a golden amulet. The crowd is confused. Using a magic tool in a duel is a massive rule violation. As expected, he had insurance. Mysak activates the Requiem of Destruction. It's a 5-star destruction spell, a literal tornado of red and black death energy. Christian doesn't dodge. He remembers the will to cleave through darkness. He reaches into the void. He draws the true black sword. The room is dead quiet, because our guy just did the impossible. Frisia is staring at the true black sword like it's a glitch in the simulation. 5-star demonic energy? In a trash noble? Christian keeps that all according to plan smirk on his face, but inside he's probably checking his own stat sheet. Meanwhile, Mysak is on the floor coughing up smoke and wondering how his 5-star cheat code just got turned into a paperweight. Christian doesn't even give him the satisfaction of a conversation, just calls him a pathetic fool and lets the mana blast do the rest of the talking. Impact. Floor shattered. The crowd is losing it. They came for a beatdown, and they got one. Just not the one they expected. The genius heir is a rug, and the trash is the only one standing. Nordian has seen enough. He's the patriarch, he doesn't do impressed, he just does satisfied. He tells Frisia to do a better job raising her kid, which is basically a 7-star burn in front of the whole family. Frisia is gripping her dress so hard she's about to rip through reality. Nordian gives Christian a nod. The trip was worth the effort. That's patriarch speak for, you're officially on my radar, don't mess it up. Christian plays the part. Big smile, I'll keep proving my worth, Grandpa. But the second he walks away, the mask drops. He managed to manifest the dark energy, but it's a temporary hack. He's pushing his body to the red line. See, at 5 stars, dark energy isn't just a buff, it's a conceptual nuke. You can suppress anyone, anywhere, regardless of distance. He's thinking about his next level up when a voice hits him like a bucket of ice water. There's a guy sitting in a tree. Casual. Elegant. And Christian's body, the body that just took down a 5-star mage, refuses to move. Meet Sarad, the eldest brother. Now, you have to understand why Christian looks like he's seeing a ghost. In his past life, Sarad wasn't just a brother. He was a nightmare. Disciple of Simon, commander of the Blood Shadow Squad. A man who treated war like a hobby. Christian is screaming internally, Sarad shouldn't be here. Not this early. Sarad hops down, acting like they're just catching up at a family barbecue. But the memory flashes back. Blood, masks, the sound of his friends dying. In the old timeline, Sarad looked at Christian with pure disgust. He wanted to carve him limb from limb because Christian was too boring to kill. That trauma is hard-coded into Christian's soul. Every nerve is screaming run. But he can't. If he wants to stop the apocalypse, this guy has to die. No matter what. Christian forces his mana to flare. He's shaking, but he's not backing down. Sarad just hums. He's amused. How cold, he says, leaning in close enough for Christian to smell the iron. He whispers that if Christian keeps acting like a threat, he'll have to kill him. It's not a boast. It's a fact. Christian is frozen. The power gap isn't a gap, it's a canyon. Sarad sighs. He had high expectations after the rumors. But now? He thinks Christian is below his expectations. Christian finds his voice. Wait for it. I'm going to personally take your head. Sarad stops. Then he laughs. A loud, genuine, you're actually funny laugh. Fine, I take it back. You're interesting, but not enough. He taps Christian on the forehead. Blood drips. Christian didn't even see the movement. Sarad walks away, giving him a deadline. He's not a patient man. Christian stands there in the courtyard, alone. He punches the wall. Total helplessness. He couldn't even lift a finger against the man who murdered his friends. But then, he analyzes. Sarad hasn't made his demon contract yet. No foul stench. He has 1 year. 1 year to get strong enough to kill a literal monster. Alright, tilt is over. Time to get to work. If he wants to beat Sarad, he needs artifacts. Big ones. Like the one Mysak used, but better. A maid interrupts his brooding. Marchioness Frisia wants a meeting. Christian switches back to trash mode. Lead the way. He enters the room and you can practically taste the killing intent in the air. Frisia is sipping tea, trying her best not to turn him into a charcoal briquette on the spot. She asks if he knows about the Young Masters meeting. It's a social event for the 3 great families. This year, the Khazars are hosting it. On the 7th floor of the underground garden, Christian looks at the list of attendees. Juvian, Marisa, and Kashmir. He remembers Kashmir, the future 7-star legend. But Christian realizes something Frisia didn't expect him to catch. This roster? It's all the family outcasts. They aren't socializing, they're being sent there to be wiped out. Christian sighs. I'm so exhausted from beating the hell out of your son, he says. Give me some seed money so I can live it up before we head out. He's literally begging for cash after humiliating her. The audacity is 10-star. The next day, a letter arrives. Rudolph Merchant Group. Perfect timing. He needs to prep for that murder garden, because there's an artifact hidden there that he's not supposed to get for another few years. But in this timeline, he's skipping the queue. He walks into the merchant shop and sees Lady Leah already there. She's deadpan as usual. This is my usual shop. Why wouldn't I be here? The branch leader shows up, looking like she just found a gold mine. Christian wants the gift they prepared. Take a seat, he says, taking over the room instantly. Even the high-ranking merchants don't know how to handle his energy. Leah is watching him closely. She knows he's not just here for a shopping spree. Christian starts the intel trade. I can't fully trust either of you, he says, especially not Leah. He mentions the gift he got at the inauguration, the undead dragon. The merchant nearly chokes. An undead dragon? That's endgame content. Now we get the lore dump. Things at the Evil King Castle are going south. People are missing. Families are cut off. Leah is suspiciously well informed about it. She stammers, trying to claim it's just family connections. Christian isn't buying it, but he lets it slide for now. The merchant realizes Christian was right. The Evil King Castle's isolation isn't just a rumor. They might be preparing for war against the Union. Neutral zones are getting suspicious. Gates blocked. Surveillance tightened. The Holy Kingdom has intervened. Christian eyes go dark. The pieces are moving. The merchant offers to look into who issued the lockdown. Christian smiles. Reliable as always. Also, Christian says, looking the merchant right in the eye, I have one more favor, and from the look on his face, it's not going to be a small one. The merchant leader is having a full-blown mental breakdown. She's used to our guy squeezing her for favors, but when Christian says he's actually going to pay this time, she doesn't believe him for a second. She's practically shaking her fist at the sky because she knows paying later usually means never happening. But then Lady Leah just casually sips her tea and says, he will. Christian just leans back with that I told you I was a big deal smirk. He drops the bomb. He's heading to the underground garden soon. Now, if you aren't up on the lore, the underground garden is basically a treasure garden. It's locked down by the Destruction Mage family, behind chains and enough security to make Fort Knox look like a lemonade stand. But Christian's plan is simple. If he steals something from it, it's not a theft, it's an investment. The merchant leader pivots faster than a streamer catching a ban. Suddenly, she's all about investing in the peace of the empire. Christian leans in and whispers the name of the prize. The air in the room just dies. Lenin's scissors. This thing is worth over 10 million rup. It's a human-made artifact that hits with the weight of an ancient relic. The merchant leader is stunned. How does he even know they have it? Easy. Christian remembers her bragging about it in his past life. He basically tells her to quit being a hoarder and let him borrow it. In return, he promises a treasure so good it'll make her head spin. Time for a training montage skip. Christian has officially hit 5-star. He used the data from his fight with Mysok to overclock his illusion magic and demonic energy. He didn't just raise his dark core though, he brought his light core up to the aura blade level. The grind is paying off, and just in time. There's a knock at the door. Meet Simon, the vampire escort. They're on the move. Carriage is rattling through the forest. Outside, someone is literally running alongside the horses. Christian is just looking out the window, realizing that the Magic Empire is basically just a collection of weirdos. Especially this guy. Simon is way too happy for a vampire. Sparkling eyes, fangs out, the whole I'm just glad to serve you, young master energy. Christian is suspicious. Why me? Simon just hits him with the you're interesting line. Classic side character behavior. But Christian knows the truth. Vampires are naturally cruel. Simon's own brother Idrin is the blood demon king who slaughtered half the world. Christian decides to poke the bear. Or the bat. He asks Simon about Count Idrin, the Grand Princess. Simon's eyes light up like someone just mentioned his favorite anime. Idrin is one of the 5 rising stars, the elites of the elites. Simon leans back and says, she's a cute and pretty child. Christian's brain just stops. What? Simon insists she's kind, that the little Princess of Blood nickname is just a big misunderstanding. Apparently, she doesn't enjoy slaughter. She even sends Simon letters to check on him. Christian is picturing a demon lord sending heart-shaped envelopes. Simon even tries to play matchmaker. You two would suit each other well, Prince! Christian goes quiet. He's comparing Simon's lovely sister to the version of Idrin he remembers. Either her personality changed after she made a demon contract, or she is perfectly hiding a terrifying true nature that the world wasn't ready for. Christian realizes there is a massive gap in his knowledge, something he missed in the first life. Suddenly, the window bursts open. It's the princess, Jupian, scaring the absolute crap out of him. She calls him a coward and hitches a ride. Elsewhere, a cold, gray castle. Kashmir is sitting in a dim room. No treasure, no servants, just his mother, looking like she's already halfway to the other side. He's holding her hand, his own knuckles turning white. He's begging her to hold on. The resistor is currently powerless, and it is going to take a miracle or a very specific trash noble to change that.